And then you think to yourself, yeah, it is. And it turned out to be. It was a national game. Brian Anderson on the call on TDS. I don't know what happened to the FanDuel broadcast local. I was watching that, and then it froze up. All of a sudden, that went away. And so I flipped over to the other one. I kept flipping back and forth. But what a night last night at the ball yard. What a fun time. That was so good. That was so good. It's good to see. MIZ-ery got the win. Brewers got a win. And now they go, can we say, now they go for the sweep? I think we can. Because it's true. You can say anything if it's true, right? Sure. Good to go there. If it's true, do it. It's like, if it's free, it's for me. If it's true, say it. Say it with your chest. Say it with conviction. Brewers go for the sweep today. I like it. I'm all wound up. Had a banner day. Got up and did all kinds of stuff. Ran around the house, got some things done. My car is all legal now. I finally got the emissions test done on that. Didn't know I had to do it when you bought a new one, but, who knew? Got that done today. Got everything ready to go for the trip to drive. So I am all wound up. I'm feeling good today. You want to chime in? If you're feeling good, you want to chime in. We got Vinny Rottino coming up, by the way, here in about 10 minutes. So we're going to talk to him. But if you are all fired up today as all you got to do is let your voice be heard. Give us a shout. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. That's the way to track us down. You can also text us 608, I should say. 608-321-1670. 608-321-1670. Again, 508-321-1670. You can also track us down on YouTube. Go to youtube.com. That is youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can subscribe absolutely free. Hell yeah. Free. If it's free, it's for me. We love that comment, right? We do. You can track us down also on Twitter, on X, @Bill_Michaels, @Bill_Michaels. You can find us, find Grant at Wisco Grant. Can't forget about Grant at Wisco Grant, WISCO at Wisco Grant. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, The Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website, simply thebillmichaels.com. And then on the app, after the fact, on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts. But don't forget, take us anywhere and everywhere. Download us in your pocket. Keep us right there in your ears. That is WOZN, the mighty zone in Madison, the Zone Madison. You can find us there. And do not forget, also after the fact, we are a television program that you can watch on Saturday night, 8 o'clock Central Time. That is in Milwaukee on My 24 TV in Milwaukee. We have Vinny Rottino coming up. We're going to talk a little Packers off season with our buddy Rob Reischel today. And we got some buy or sell is back. So excited about all of that stuff. Grant Bills, how you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. I even texted you last night, which we text sometimes, but not a ton. I'm like, that's one of the best baseball games of the season.
That was fantastic.
That was a badass baseball game last night.
The atmosphere, I had a couple of friends of mine who were there, and both Tony and Trent said the same thing, that was like a playoff atmosphere. He said everybody was into every pitch. And when they got a couple of runs up on Kershaw, everybody around him was like, that's it, game over. Like they just, MIZ-ery looked like the minute he gave up the home run, he settled down. Whatever it is, which was, by the way, just a high breaking ball. It just didn't break. And Ohtani made him pay for it. But after that, there was nothing. They said he was just lighting it up. And they were just, I mean, I was obviously watching at home, but they were there. And they said every pitch, people are standing on every third strike pitch. And they said it was absolutely like a playoff atmosphere last night. And to walk away with a win over the defending champs, people loved it. Which,
well, and
I'm fired up.
It was pretty cool to watch, I think, Miz and Ohtani and all three of those at bats. Like, we're going to lock in and treat this like it's a little extra special.
Right.
Because it is. And that's kind of fun. You don't often get that throughout the course of a 162 game season where it's elevated. It feels a little bit bigger than just one of, 27 outs on a Tuesday night.
Yep. 100%. And here's the other thing. And I thought it was kind of cool when they mentioned it, because I was thinking the exact same thing last night. The exact same thing. By the way, the Brewers do play today. Quintana goes to the Hill. 1:10 is the start time down at American Family Field. But excuse me, where did McGill reach back and get 99 last night? Did you see that?
Yeah, it wasn't just Miz. The three relievers, Koenig, Uribe, and McGill were unbelievable.
I mean, Uribe's always hit.
up around 98, 99, 100. Okay, he's always been at 1 or 2 pitches he can get up there. Koenig came in and threw a really clean inning in the 7th, but McGill, 14 pitches, 10 for strikes, and he was hitting 98, 99. I mean, even the broadcasters like, where'd he get that? Because normally he's a 95, 96 with good breaking stuff. Next thing you know, he's reaching back, rearing back, and getting 99. And I think it was Bill Schroeder went, must be rubbing off. It's something out there in the pen now. It's like, wait, everybody got it. Everybody's going to be working out with pregame workouts with water bottles and that kind of stuff thrown on your back and whatever kind of Sherpa outfit that Miz-ery wears when he gets ready. That was like if you're the Dodgers, you got to be going, damn. Because Koenig came in, lit him up. 9 pitches, 7 strikes. 9 pitches in the 7th. 9.
That was as good as Koenig has looked maybe all season, honestly.
9 pitches. Uribe, 10 pitches, 7 strikes. 14 pitches, 10 strikes for McGill with 2 strikeouts. Koenig came in, bang, bang, bang. Ground ball, got him out. Well, I think one of them was a fly ball. Very easy work. But I was like, wow. Uribe and McGill, total of 24 pitches in 2 innings, 3 strikeouts, 24 pitches, 17 for strikes. And they lit him up. And that was all she wrote. But man, that was good. That was fun stuff last night. If you were watching that game and you're a Brewers fan, you were giddy. You were giddy.
And it ultimately didn't matter, but that Sal Frelick homer late in the game felt so massive. To not just make a 2-1 game, a 3-1 game, which is a big difference against a lineup like the Dodgers when so many of those guys can just go yard easily, but also for the crowd. And, it felt a little playoffs-ish. Yep. Minus the blown save.
Very
that would have made it feel more like a playoff game. Luckily, that was the only similarity.
By the way,
the Sal Frelick home run.
Our guy Nick named him Miz-ery the Slim Reaper. I like it. Now, is he the first to call him that, or is that somebody else that's brought that up?
I've never heard that for Miz. I've heard that for Durant. Okay. Not for a while, but never for Miz. No, you had a couple Miz puns when we started.
Yeah.
Inflicting, what did you say, misery on the Dodgers?
Yeah, it was misery.
Good.
He MIZ-tified them last night. Loved it. MIZ-tified them.
Were you up early this morning with your notebook?
I was sitting on the couch last night just thinking of this stuff. I was trying to figure, what's really bad is I keep going back to the Seinfeld, which I know I shouldn't reference that, but I go back to the Seinfeld when Elaine was dating the guy who was the Wiz. I'm the Wiz. Oh, I'm the Wiz. And I keep doing that around the house. Oh, I'm the Miz. And it's just like I'm an idiot. If my neighbors ever really just opened up the windows and watched around the house as I'm walking around, it's not like I'm walking around naked or doing stuff. It's just I'm just shouting stuff out like I've just got like just goofy sports Tourette's of some type. It's just, oh man, just crazy last night.
Sometimes you just got to yell in your own house just to stay from going crazy.
Yep.
I know we have Vinny in a couple minutes. We'll break, but 2 other plays last night. That throw home by Monasterio from third.
Yes. That was,
and I saw someone just mention that. I think was it Marv or Tyler on the live stream. We hadn't even mentioned that. That was an unbelievable play.
That was a hose last night. Yep, absolutely, big time. Let's do this. We will break early because we got Vinny Rottino coming up, and he's got a hard out at the bottom of the hour, so we got to get him in and get him out. So let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Vinny Rottino is going to join us, and he is going to talk about that MIZ-tifying performance last night from one Jacob Miz-ery. Don't go anywhere. We're going to come back, talk more Brewers. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The roar of racing is back at Road America. IndyCar, Superbikes, Vintage. The 640 acres of land in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin will shake with the roar of engines. Get your tickets now and secure your spot. Camping sites and corporate hospitality space is available as well. Get your season pass, individual race tickets, and all the information at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Road America, America's National Park of Speed.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
The kid, again, has elevated his game to another level, you know, like giving up the leadoff home run. It's like getting knocked down in the first round. Here's one of the best hitters in the game, and he leaves a breaking ball up, didn't finish it, gives up a homer, and wow, you know, it's like taking a stiff one in the first round. And then he got back up, took a standing 8, got back up, and battled.
That's exactly what happened. A lot of good things going on. Exciting. Dodgers, they had MIZ-ery last night. Love it. Love it. Joining us now on the hotline, the guy that was there up front, close, personal, to witness it all and enjoy it. We're joined now by Vinny Rottino, and you can find him at Vinny Rottino over there on Twitter, on X, from FanDuel Sports, Brewers broadcaster. Vinny, how you doing today, man?
Excellent setup. I'm here to ruin your morning. I think he just needs a minute or two. So I said,
okay.
Call him back if he springs free.
Okay.
Excellent setup, though. Sorry to ruin it.
It was fantastic, too. That's a great lead-in.
It was good.
All my broadcast capability now has completely flown out of me. So
should we fold up shop? Just head home for the day then?
We should at some point, I guess, because that's all I got. I was busy trying to get everything else added to the television screen. I guess I should have been paying attention to you. So we'll get. No,
you're all good.
I
think we'll get him here in a minute or two. I told him 10:18, and he said he put it in his calendar. So he probably expected 10:18, and you can blame that on me. That's my fault.
What, 35 seconds away. So yeah, he's not going to answer the phone for another 35 seconds. So I get it.
He's busy. They're at the ballpark today. It's a quick turnaround, and it's one of the biggest Brewer games of the season last night with this huge star-studded matchup, and back at it again in what? 3 hours here, 4 hours, not even.
Yeah. Yep. Was and again, if you're just tuning us in last night, it was a fantastic night at the ballpark. And you had obviously MIZ-ery going against Kershaw. And again, you have a young guy that faces off. He had Paul Skeens. Now, the Pittsburgh Pirates are a down team. Skeens very possibly could win the Cy Young and have a negative record when it comes to wins and losses because he just doesn't get run support, and it's a terrible baseball team. And he didn't blink at that matchup when that was a day game. It was a sellout, the whole thing. Last night, primetime game on TBS and at home, Kershaw, surefire Hall of Famer, Ohtani, all that stuff. Dodgers, reigning champions, the whole thing. They're on a down streak right now. They've lost 5 in a row. They're struggling. That something's got to give, that type of thing. And they're ready to tee off on the rookie with a very powerful lineup. And he gave up the first home run. You could see his face like, oh, crap. And then after that, the confidence began to build. They talk so much about the confidence with MIZ-ery, by the way. The confidence began to build. And you could see the emotion. You could see the enthusiasm. You could see all of that. It was fun to watch. And it's different because somebody had brought it up to me last night. And I think it was my buddy Trent, who was at the ballpark last night. And he texted me, he said, this is like when CeCe arrived. Because with the energy, when CeCe would come off the mound and be screaming and yelling into his glove and such. And it was like, no, it's different. This is not CeCe Sabathia riding through the door and dragging them across the finish line. This is a kid that's accentuated this team with a different youthful enthusiasm. Let's talk to Vinny Rottino about it. I know he's just coming out of meetings or the bathroom, one of the two. Vinny Rottino from FanDuel now joining us, Brewers broadcaster. Vinny, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. No, actually both coming out of a bathroom man meeting.
Both are well equipped because you can have a great meeting in the bathroom. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep, Bill, you're right on point with that as per usual.
Yes, thank you very much. Now answer me this, because I had a friend of mine that said, this is like when CeCe got here. And I said, no, because CeCe was a veteran and you came in and had these expectations and it was a different energy. You were just trying to get above 500 and trying to get yourself into the postseason. This is a kid who seems to have given a shot of adrenaline into a team that's been there, done that. They're just trying to add that extra piece to maybe put him over the top. And MIZ-ery's been all that in a bag of chips. Do you look at those as two different things?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, I can see kind of where someone would be going with that, just in terms of like the energy that CeCe brought to the team way back in 2008. And, just it was a shot in the arm. Now, it is different, though, because this team has been in the playoffs now for 6 out of the last 7 years and won the division back-to-back years. So, I mean, there's a level of success here that the Brewers and the Brewers fans have come to expect. Now, MIZ-ery now all of a sudden gives you just like some hope that maybe, okay, this kid could, you have Peralta, MIZ-ery, and Brandon Woodruff now all of a sudden, that's a 3-headed monster perhaps that could carry you through the playoffs. Now, I do think that's kind of the more the feel that you get from this kid and the shot of adrenaline, the shot in the arm that he has brought to the team.
To get yourself through a season, a long baseball season, there has to be certain things. Now, this team started off rough. They were basically a 500 team. Then they get the extra inning win on the walk-off grand slam by Yelich. Boom, you've got yourself an energizing moment, because I know that Murph was talking about misplaced energy. Then MIZ-ery comes up. Then Woodruff comes back. It's like every time you're kind of hitting a little bit of a lull, something else happens to kind of give you another burst of energy for the next few weeks or what have you. But all of this, when you put it all together, it's got to be energizing and exciting to be around this team every day now, knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, well, Bill, they were 21-25 on May 17th. After the game on May 17th, 21-25. That was the 23rd best record, best winning percentage in all of baseball. I mean, they were not just struggling; they were a bad team. They were going to sell at the deadline, and all of a sudden they've been on this unbelievable run, if not the hottest, one of the hottest teams in all of baseball since that May 18th date. And look, it's such a long stretch now that they've been playing differently. They've been playing with that, not misplaced energy now. This energy is placed in the right direction on beating teams day in, day out. And all of a sudden now they've taken 2 from the LA Dodgers, who had the best record in all the National League, and now the Dodgers on a 5-game losing streak. So they have the Dodgers kind of back on their heels, reeling at this moment in time, and think about the payroll that they have and the superstar power that they do have. They have an opportunity to sweep them. Now, I think if they sweep this team right here and then go in and then take the series against the Washington Nationals, they're going to be going into that All-Star break. Talk about energized group and energized fan base. We're going to be thinking some really big things here, not only making it to the playoffs, but really have a chance to run down the Cubs here in the NL Central. So, yeah, this is it just happens every year, doesn't it, guys? We don't know. The expectations aren't that lofty for a team without a great payroll, with a bunch of names we don't even know who they are, and then all of a sudden they make runs like this into the season, and we get excited. So you never know. I mean, just have a chance to do something special this year. I know we say that a lot too, but they really do with this group. I feel like this group is as good, if not better, than last year's group, just because of the depth at the starting pitching that they do have.
Two things that I think have gone somewhat unnoticed because of all the excitement. One is Vaughn, they trade for him. Rhys Hoskins goes down. He comes in, hits a bomb. Last night, he gives you an RBI base knock. He's been integral. And then all of a sudden that throw from Monasterio going home last night. So for as good as MIZ-ery was in the excitement, they had some big moments from guys that you wouldn't think normally would come in and contribute right away, but they find that energy and they do it as well.
Well, and so Mona, I mean, this kid just continues to perform well. I got to tell you that for him not to take the mindset of, oh, I'm just happy to be here. No, he doesn't. That's hard to do, because he hadn't been playing a whole lot. It was in AAA to start the season. He didn't make the team because of Vinny Capra was on the team, because he was out of options. So Andrew Monasterio comes up and he's made, he's had big moments like that. Really his entire Brewers tenure so far. Now he's been with the team 3 years. So that was as big of a play last night. That's got to be in my top 5 of best plays of the year. Now it wasn't just the Superman type of a dive or a robbery of a home run, but just the situation of the game for him to throw that strike basically to cut down the runner at home to preserve the lead and preserve the MIZ-ery win. That was absolutely huge. And then yes, Andrew Vaughn. He's been playing pretty good defense, too. The dive down the line, that was potentially a game-saving play. That was in the 6th inning, the top of the 6th against Freddie Freeman with that shot down the line. And then the 3-6-3 double play that he turned game 1 in the 1st inning, and then he goes out and hits a 3-run bomb in the bottom half of that inning, and then the big RBI last night. So, I mean, he is stepping in for Rhys Hoskins. The fact that he is injured, of course, we don't love to see that. But, he's picking up where basically he is capable of, because this guy was a producer with the Chicago White Sox, and all of a sudden you're giving him a change of scenery. I mean, that was a historically bad organization. They really were. They were behind in a lot of ways, and all of a sudden you're putting him here in this winning culture. Let's see what he can do. I think he can do some big things.
So I want to ask you about the rest of the division. I only got a couple of minutes, but the Cubs, good baseball team. They continue to win games. They lost last night. Brewers only 2.5 games back as of right now. You tell me you've got the Reds 8.5. I think they're just almost completely out of it. The Cardinals are still kind of hanging around, even though those two teams are vying for at least wild card spots. They're trying to. Give me your thoughts on the division and where the Brewers, as you sit here now and look, because you talked about how they could have been sellers at the All-Star break. Now you got to think they're buyers, but what are they buying as you look at the rest of the division and where they're going?
Yeah. So, I actually am still a little bit of I'm looking at the Reds in the rearview mirror thinking, okay, keep your eyes on them just because of their starting pitching is so good. And they still have Tito Francona at the helm. And then they have Elly De La Cruz, and they have some other pieces on the position player side, some young players that can do some things. So I would just keep my, one eye on them in the rearview mirror. They scare me just a little bit, but yeah, they're digging themselves into quite a deep hole. And then I actually think the Cardinals are pretenders. I really do. I'm not a believer in what they're doing right now, especially with their starting rotation. They still have Miles Michaelis in that rotation, and some other guys that are just, they're kind of overperforming right now. And so I just don't see it sustainable for the Cardinals right now. And they could eventually be sellers. So I do think it's a 2-horse race. I think the Cubs are still the Cubs. I still think they're absolutely potent offense. Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow-Armstrong. I don't think anyone could have foreseen, what he was able to do, or what he's been able to do so far this season. He's an MVP type candidate. And that was kind of a surprise. So it's a 2-horse race. I think the Brewers are going to run them down. I really do. I'm a believer in this club, and I'm a believer in what Pat Murphy is able to kind of sell. He is the ultimate salesman, but it's authentic in terms of how he wants his guys to play. They are not going to slow down. They're going to play relentlessly. They're going to play with all kinds of conviction and intent, night in, night out. And I'm telling you guys, it's so much fun to watch this brand of baseball from the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't know if they're going to buy at the deadline. I don't. I just think Matt Arnold and company, they're so smart with these kinds of moves that they're not going to leverage the future. Also, though, if they can get something on, pennies on the dollar, they're going to pull the trigger on something. So let's see what happens here in the trade deadline. It's coming up here, guys, just 3 weeks away. So it's going to be fun kind of to see how this all plays out.
1 minute, real quick. Do you like what Murphy did in regarding to Joey Ortiz and how it was handled?
I do, because I think Joey Ortiz is the right guy to do that with, just because of the fact that I think it'll light a fire under Joey Ortiz. He is a talented player. Murph wouldn't do this with a Vinny Rottino, okay? He wouldn't. He wouldn't do this with a guy like me, because I would need a pat on the back and I would be afraid to go down to AAA. He knows how good Joey Ortiz is. He knows how talented he is, and he's asking for more from him. And I think, you know what? He knows how to push these buttons, and I think he's going to get it.
Perfect. Vinny, you go do your thing. I know I got to get you out of here. I appreciate you taking your time, and always have a great meeting when you're in the bathroom. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. See you later, Bill.
Talk to you later. There you go. Vinny Rottino joining us for a couple of minutes on the hotline. Great to get Vinny. There you go. Good stuff. As they get ready for today's game, day game for the Brewers and the Dodgers. Brewers going for the sweep. Quintana on the hill today for the Crew, so hopefully he can get the win as well. Fantastic stuff. I'm excited. I don't know if you are, but I know I am. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Go to PellaWI.com. That is PellaWI.com. These things have been great in my home. I talk about it all the time. I put my money where my mouth is. And I have changed out windows, changed out doors, and I've gone with Pella, and it has helped my home. I've got everything in here is Pella. It's all Pella all the time. And I get it. People ask me, do you really have them? Yes, I do. Did you really buy them? Yes, I did. Did you really have them certified, installed? Yes, I did. But it's home beautification, curb appeal, economical factor. I went with the wood ones because they're fantastic. They have the vinyl windows, and they've got the Impervia windows, which are as strong as fiberglass. They've got the wood windows. They've got custom windows. They've got innovations like different hardware, indoors and outdoors. They've got the roll screens. They've got slider windows. They got things that they've won awards for. There's so many reasons you can go with Pella Windows and Doors. Whatever your reason may be, I encourage you, go out and shop around, and then you're going to find the best. And then that's Pella. And go to PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. And here, oh, by the way, 0% financing. How about that? They can offer that. I'm not kidding. Do the beautification on whether it's one window and door or it's a whole house full or you got a new construction. Go with the best. Go with the ones that are going to, fit your budget, fit your lifestyle, fit your tastes and needs. That is Pella. Go to PellaWI.com or call them direct. 855-PELLA-WI. That is 855-PELLA-WI. Again, 855-PELLA-WI.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I mean, he's just bounce back start right there. Kid's got just absolute beautiful arm, and you know he loves to compete and he's having fun. We can all see it out there. Yeah, I mean, definitely waking up a bunch of people right now to the Miz world.
Miz World! Miz World! He's the Miz! He's the Miz! He's the Miz! Thanks to Vinny Rottino for joining us from the Brewers broadcast. Good to have him. He came on board on the Schneider Orange Hotline. Go to SchneiderJobs.com. That is SchneiderJobs.com. Or get a hold of him, 844-PRIDE. That is 844-PRIDE. The big orange truck is back, baby. It's back where it belongs. It's right here on the Bill Michaels Show. Yes. For all of you over-the-road drivers that are driving the big orange rigs, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Always good stuff. I love the fact that back in the day, when we did a video at one point for all the Schneider drivers. So when it was funny because Schneider drivers, specifically ones that were getting trained in the new trucks, they would turn it on and there was a video, the onboard video, and it was us. It was me greeting them into Schneider. I want to get back into trucks. I want to do that. What we need is a Schneider truck to take our whole set out to LA or out to San Francisco this year for Super Bowl. Get all that stuff delivered, the whole set. We do like one of those big stages like they do for DraftKings and stuff, Grant. That'd be fantastic.
Now, is the Schneider truck, the tractor trailer, is that also going to go in your driveway? Because I know you still got a little space out there for something else. Wedge it in there, maybe?
No, I don't know. That'd be cool, though. I'd do that. But no, that's not going to happen. But yeah. Yeah, when you used to get, back in the day, like 2012, 2013, when you got in your truck, we did a video. I didn't know what they were using the video for. We did a video for Schneider, and apparently when new drivers would come on board, when you would start the truck up and it would talk about the operating instructions or whatever it was us. It was a video that I did inside one of the trucks years ago, greeting you, which was, I don't know if I was heavier back then or thinner back then or the same. I couldn't tell you. Probably looked younger. Not as much stress. But yeah, it was good. So if you're a Schneider driver, man, and you're out there and you're like, I got some free time during Super Bowl, bring out the set, man. I think that's what we do.
I think we just scoot the Marquardt RV to one side and then the boat, which is covered by Dwayne's covered all over to the left. And then maybe we can create a lane where we can just back an 18-wheeler right
We could
down.
probably get it in there. Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to get into the garage, but I think there's room in your driveway.
Yeah, we could probably do that. We got all sponsors all the time, all around the house. That's for sure. But we could fit it in there. It would be definitely the big. I can just move the trailer because the trailer is not sponsored by anybody. So I can move the trailer, just put it up in the yard, back it up somewhere.
I can just imagine it's like a Christmas vacation thing with the neighbor with Julie Louis-Dreyfus. Like your neighbor's out watering the plants in the afternoon and he's like, this effing guy, beep, 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 backing it back.
Yeah. Kristen and I were just talking about getting like a razor, like a side-by-side.
Nice.
Whether it's for up north, not that we have a house up north, but for up north or when we, go out to Sturgis, because this year I rented, because I wasn't going to tow one with me. It's too much of a hassle. So I just rented a golf cart, a 4-person golf cart to get us around on the property at full throttle and to be able to take the equipment back and forth and set it up and all that stuff for the radio broadcast. And she said, yeah, we probably should get one, which means you're probably going to have to get a bigger trailer. So she said, can you imagine when we put it all together, like you got a side-by-side, you've got the trailer, you've got the boat, we put both motorcycles out there, you've got the RV, the truck. It's just... She's like, you're a mess. Your neighbors just got to hate you. You never just have a clean driveway with nothing in it. I said, I know. Come wintertime, it will.
At least you don't have toys strewn across the yard. You know what I mean? It's all neatly stacked side by side in the driveway.
There is one of those people down the street from me, around the corner. They have, and they got kids, but it's, and any parent, anybody that's ever been a parent knows this. You go out and buy something for your kid, like a big giant treehouse jungle gym swing set, or even like those plastic play school toys with a slide and a little house and all that different stuff, or those little cars that they can pedal around in. That stuff gets used for about a week, maybe 2. And then when a few friends come over, maybe they'll use it again. But for the most part, it becomes just a lawn ornament at that point. I had done that for my kids back in the day when I lived back in Ohio. I had a whole play system built in the backyard with the big timbers and then I had all the mulch strewn around it so it was soft in case they fell, and I put a big garden planks around that and to hold it all in there, and I edged it really nice, and I put those little lights around it because I had a thing where you could actually play with it at night if you wanted to, and it was great. It was really cool. It was really nice, and I think they used it 3 times after it was built. So I kept thinking to myself, I should have bought a pool. I should have had a pool installed for the amount of money I spent into all that crap.
It's okay to have toys, especially with your family. I learned growing up, I was taught when dad's car is seen coming up the driveway at the end of a long workday, there better not be crap all over the yard.
Pick up your crap.
And those were the words that he used.
Yeah.
Those were the most polite terms typically used. I make my dad sound angry. He wasn't. He just didn't like crap in the yard.
Oh, no.
It's not going to fly.
My dad was military. My dad and mom believed that you should be presentable. If anybody shows up as a guest in your home or in your area, that you should be presentable all the time. And so whatever you do during the day, clean it up at night. And I have told this story before. I'll never forget. He came home one day. I had a baseball game. And it was like at 9 or 10 in the morning. And we played. And my friends were going to the pool. So I thought, I want to get home. I want to jump on my bike. I want to go to the pool. And I had a baseball game the next day because we won the first day of the first game of the tournament. We had 2 games the next day for 2 championships. And I got home and I'm like, I'll get it later. And I took my uniform off in the bathroom, threw on swim trunks and a t-shirt, my gym shoes, jumped on my 10-speed, and off I went off to the pool. Got up the next day because everything was gone. I got up the next day and I'm like, Mom, where's my baseball uniform? I got to go. And she goes, ask your father. I knew right then it was not going to be a good day. And I said, Dad, Mom said to ask you where my baseball stuff is. He said, where'd you leave it? And right then I knew it was over. And I said, I left it in the bathroom floor. He said, where does it belong? I said, it should have been in the hamper where mom could do the wash, or it should have been down in the laundry room. And he's like, so what do you think we do with things that we leave laying around? So I ran right away. I looked in the garbage can outside and it wasn't there. And he says, you want to live like an animal? Go climb a tree like an animal. And I went, what? And it dawned on me. I walked out on the front porch and all my crap was in the tree. He threw it off the front porch into the tree and I had to climb the tree to go get it. I'll never forget that. My jock and cup were hanging up there. All my stirrups off my socks, my pants, my jersey, my undershirt with the long sleeves. All of it was in the tree. All of it. I'm like, how'd you get it up there? He said, I just kept throwing it until it stuck. Now go get it. I never left my crap on the floor again. I was probably in 7th grade.
Good lesson.
Yeah, that was it. That's why
my stuff would.
I am the way I am. The only 2 rooms in my house that are really kind of messy: my desk, because I'm completely unorganized, and then my bedroom at times. But yeah, that was my dad, man, and never forgot it.
Those are the spaces that are really only for you. You're not entertaining.
Correct.
Really in the studio or in your bedroom. I would, if I were to leave dishes around or whatever, it would just get thrown in my bed. So I'd come down at the end of the day to go to bed, and it would just be crap, dirty dishes, whatever. Here you go. It's on your, if you don't want to put it away, I'll throw it on your bed, and then you'll have to put it away.
One night I made one of those pizzas, in the oven. I ate probably 3 pieces out of it. I left it sitting on the dining table, and I just forgot. I fell asleep. I forgot about it. Next day, found it under my pillow. Found the pizza under my pillow. Not the pan. My mom washed the pan. My dad went up, dumped the pizza off, put it under my pillow, took it back downstairs. My mom washed the pan. I went to put my arm under because I sleep on my stomach. I put my arm under I'm like, ugh, what's this? And there's a whole pizza underneath my pillow. So, oh yeah.
To bring this back to the Brewers, I'd like to think that Pat Murphy instills similar discipline. I feel like Pat Murphy has maybe used some of these strategies through the years.
He threw Joey Ortiz's jock in a tree out back up by the VA.
He hung it on the euchre statue.
Yes. Where'd you leave your swings when you looked at three straight strikes, Joey? I threw him in a tree over by the VA.
Dumped it in the river right under the bridge.
Yes.
Go outside and get them.
Now go get your crap if you want to play today.
Ask an usher. They got golf carts. They'll take you over there, but you go down in the water and get it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's fantastic. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, do it. Love it. That's good stuff. Oh, my goodness. This was from Mark. He said, the worst thing my dad ever did to me, he said, was saw my baseball bat in half on his wood saw for leaving my baseball equipment in the middle of the garage when he tried to drive in. Okay. Your dad's kind of like down the same street, same path as mine. But my dad was, the thing about my dad too, my dad was military, but he was a gunnery sergeant. He taught over in Germany. He taught you he was the instructor to teach you how to fire cannons. So my dad was around cannons all the time. So my dad had hearing. He was hearing impaired. Not that he was deaf by any stretch, but he just didn't hear as well as everybody else. So my dad talked real loud, so the whole neighborhood could hear him. So whenever you got disciplined, man, everybody in the neighborhood knew. Everybody. That, Bill's in trouble again. So I go outside, Mr. Ventry across the street, and he'd say, and he laughed like Muttley. That's the way he laughed. He would laugh and look at me, and he'd say, don't leave your stuff laying around anymore, or something about Matchbox cars or whatever it was. But him and Mr. Carvellano, man, those two guys, they'd laugh at me all the time because I was always getting into trouble. 877-867-1670. Oh, geez, here we go. Jeremy says, my cat peed in my baseball bag when I was in baseball select in 6th grade. My parents tried their best, but my gloves smelled like cat pee for the entire season. That's the worst. Cat pee is the worst. That's like an ammonia you can't get rid of. You can't use natural pet, nature's pet. You can't use that. It won't get rid of it. Febreze won't get rid of it. Nothing. Cat pee, you just got to toss it. You just got to toss it. David says, my dad let the air out of my tires for getting a speeding ticket. Oh, there's an idea for you. Okay. I can see that happening. My son got brought home one time by the police, and I think all it took was the look. And he knew that was it. He knew that was it. My nephew, one time when he came to my house, I had a pool table, really nice pool table at one point. And my nephew, he didn't want to come upstairs. Kind of gross, but he didn't want to come upstairs and quit playing pool. So he had this habit of down in the basement, off to the side of where the pool room was, there was a drain. He peed in the drain. And he stayed with me for like a week. He came up to, my sister's kids, and they came to visit. And he peed in the drain. Suddenly it started smelling like pee in my basement. And I caught him doing it. And he was kind of cocky, and he's like, "What are you going to do about it? You can't touch me." One of those kids. And I picked. He had one of those flip phones at the time, those Nokia flip phones, and so I dialed 911, and he looked at me, and I handed it back to him. I said, "You better be ready to hit send." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because you're going to need it by the time they get here." That was the last time he ever peed in my drain.
Peeing in a drain is fine if it's like a wash tub and then you can run water for a little bit.
Yeah, no.
I did that like 2 weeks ago at a friend's house. He did too. That's just where if you're in the basement, it's just where you go. Yeah. But you can't pee and then not just let it sit there.
Right. I was glad that he enjoyed the house and enjoyed the pool table and had fun, but you got to take a break to go upstairs and go to the bathroom. You're not going to pee on my floor.
Yeah, not the point of your story, I understand, but I can add.
I told him, I said, I have no problem, beating you right here. So if you think I can't touch you, go ahead. Go ahead. I do it to my own kids. I'll do it to you. I have no problem with it. So I hate these kids that go, "You can't touch me." And then they say whatever they want. It's like, no, I can grab you by the throat and throw you to the ground. I don't care. I'll work it down to a misdemeanor. I'm good with that. But it won't save you in the next 60 seconds. I'll tell you that right now, and you'll never forget it. So 877-867-1670. And then there's these parents that go, "Well, talk to them nice." And I do. I give them an opportunity. You can correct this situation. But don't come back at me, because I'm not anybody that's going to take your crap. So, let's do this. We'll step aside. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and then we'll get back into it. Brewers get a big win. MIZ-ery was the Miz last night. Brewers going for the sweep today. 2.5 games behind the Cubs. They are efforting forward. One of the best records in baseball since May 23rd. Hell yeah! Get out and celebrate. Enjoy yourself. Summer is here. It's in the hot and thick of things, and maybe you want to get on the water. That's our friends at SkipperBuds. That's what they're there for. As a matter of fact, I drove past there yesterday. They've kind of got it great, because part of that street by the Waukesha County Airport is now shut down. They're expanding the airport, so they've shut the street down. So you're kind of trapped. You go to SkipperBuds, and there's nowhere else to go. You just got to stay there or turn around and leave. But head over to SkipperBuds. Boat sales, service, and storage. Get a hold of my buddy Todd. He's the GM over there. If you're looking for a ski boat, if you're looking for your starter boat, if you're looking to upgrade pontoons, whatever it is, they've got something for everybody. 262-544-1200. That's 262-544-1200. That's our friends over there at SkipperBuds. SkipperBuds, boat sales, service, and storage. 262-544-1200.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was the collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options, and it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware, and because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side, at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by, because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious Cops. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Server restrictions apply in 2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome in. Bill Michaels Show. Heading towards the top. That's fast, man. I can't believe we are already through an hour of the program. This portion of it, short as it may be, brought to you by our friends at Miba, M-I-B-A, Industrial Bearings, right there in Grafton, Wisconsin. M-I-B-A. They're looking for really good CNC machinists. They're looking for you. You know why? Because they're willing to pay top dollar, 401k, all that kind of good stuff, all the benefits that go along with it. You can search them on Indeed and go to MIBA, Miba Industrial Bearings. They're in Grafton, Wisconsin. Again, 262-337-2210, 262-337-2210, 262-337-2210. And they do hydrodynamic bearings for the power generation industry. And they're looking to add you, if you are a CNC machinist or anybody just looking to move to a better company for that matter. 262-337-2210. That is 262-337-2210. There you go. Chuck says, yesterday I said that I thought the Dodgers would give the Miz a rude awakening because they would be the first good team that he would have faced. Well, I was wrong. He pitched a hell of a game. Congratulations. And by the way, the Twins beat the Cubs. You are welcome. Chuck. Well, Chuck, thank you very much. Although I will say the first really good team that he faced was the Mets, because the Mets, they have bombers, man. And they proved that. And that was, but he got his kind of, when your stuff isn't working and you're not out there with command and confidence and energy, and you're not, that was your first, you can't have, in the minors, you can have a day or two throughout a season when you have a letdown game. You can get by with it. You can get by with not your best stuff. In the majors, no, you got to bring it, because anybody that's not on their A game, look at a guy like Kershaw and look at a guy like Skeens. Anytime you're not on your A game, that's when it happens. Next thing you know, boom, you're down, you lose. And the Miz has been the benefactor of a team that's been aggressive. They've given him some run support, albeit not huge, and he's had his A game and he's won more often than not. So it's been good. But Chuck, thank you. Thank you and the Twins for knocking off the Cubs, man. High five to you. That fast. We are an hour down. Bang. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming. We got some buy or sell today. We got Rob Reischel today. We're loaded. We're a baby diaper, baby. We're loaded. More right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, despite allowing a leadoff home run to Shohei Ohtani, the Brewers starting pitcher Jacob MIZ-ery would go 6 innings, only giving up 4 hits, 1 earned run, and striking out 12 to lead the Brewers to a 3-1 victory over the Los Angeles Dodgers at American Family Field last night. Here's more from the rookie right-hander.
It's so satisfying. I mean, it's just a dream come true to, do what I did. And it's awesome that it was against the Dodgers, but, it's no words for it.
The Brewers pulled ahead in the 4th with RBIs from Andrew Vaughn and Isaac Collins off of Clayton Kershaw, and then Sal Frelick could have a homer in the 8th for insurance. The Brewers bullpen was also perfect, with Trevor McGill capping it off with the save. Here's more from him.
I mean, it's important every series, right? It's a different team, different week. But, I mean, definitely when it's heightened like this, especially with the media attention and, 3 extra trucks out in the back when you drive in, I mean, it's definitely feels like a bigger game. But, I mean, every series is just as important. This is a big one, too.
The Brewers will now look for the sweep over the Dodgers. They'll send Jose Quintana to the mound today. First pitch is at 1:10.
ABC of Wisconsin is the largest apprenticeship program in the state, with more than 2,000 active apprentices in 12 different skilled trades. In the ABC apprenticeship program, you earn while you learn on the job, get paid to go to class, and graduate with a job in your craft, but without the huge college debt. Explore 12 different construction trades in one spot at buildyourcareerwi.org, or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
The Bucks have their summer league action beginning Thursday in Las Vegas. Wisconsin basketball has their summer workouts going right now. That includes 9 new scholarship players after last year's roster graduated 6 seniors. Saw a few others leave. And finally, we're 2 weeks away from the Packers starting training camp up in Green Bay. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
He was MIZ-tifying. He added misery to the Dodgers. Love it. Welcome in one, welcome in all. Bill Michaels Show today. The day after the misery was spread out amongst, even though Ohtani didn't get him a second time after that. He ended up going down and looking bad doing it. If you were watching by chance the 4-Letter Network Sports Center today, that was the leadoff in every broadcast was they had a couple of things, and then they went into the first highlight, and that was Kershaw, MIZ-ery, Hall of Famer, up-and-comer, and then they showed Ohtani going yard, and after that it was nothing. 12 strikeouts, 12 Ks as the Dodgers, the defending champs, continue to fall. 5 straight they have now lost. Quintana on the hill today for the Brewers as the Brewers go for the sweep. Remember, we were talking about the Brewers needed, really, I shouldn't say needed. I was hoping for like 8 out of the last 12. 8 out of the last 12. Get those wins. Headed into the All-Star break, you'd be good to go. Which meant win each series. That's it. 2 out of 3 of each series. Well, then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets. So okay, now you got to make it up somewhere. Today's the day you can make it up. Today's that day. If you win today, then you just need 2 out of 3 against the Washington Nationals over the weekend. And you have then won 8 out of your last 12 going into the All-Star break. Hell yeah. I like that. Hopefully Quintana can keep it going. We'll see. You want to chime in today? We got Rob Reischel coming up a little bit later on. We got Buyer Sellers back today on a day that, a little bit of a lull right now in the world of sports. You got baseball, and that's kind of about it. Football, we're on the countdown to training camp. Basketball, everything, the dust is settled on the free agent market and the trades and the draft and everything goes along with that. You really don't have a lot of, NHL is down right now as well, other than maybe some racing. You don't have a whole lot going on. By the way, that craptastic race in Chicago, that needs to end. That was garbage. I watched all of about 37 seconds of that. That was terrible, that NASCAR race in Chicago. Good God, just end it already. Just put yourself out of your misery. I don't know what NASCAR is thinking, but they have got serious cases of cranius rectus invertus and need to stop that. So all of that combined, you call in 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You can track us down on the text line. Text us 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. You can watch us and subscribe to us absolutely free. Go YouTube. We hope you do. YouTube.com/Bill Michaels Show, youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. Welcome into the great gang over there in the cheap seats. We always appreciate you watching us there. You can also find us on X, on Twitter, @Bill_Michaels, @Bill_Michaels. Find Grant @Wisco Grant, WISCO @Wisco Grant. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, the Bill Michaels Show. On the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website, thebillmichaels.com. App, WOZN, the Zone Madison. Take us anywhere and everywhere. Listen to us. That is the Zone Madison. And you can find us after the fact on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever your favorite podcasts are downloaded. And do not forget, we are a television show as well. You can watch us Saturday nights, 8 o'clock Central Time. Check your local listings in Milwaukee on My24 TV. That is My24 TV. My24 TV. There you go. So anything else that we have missed in the opening hour of this program, Grant?
Not really. No, I mean, the Brewers lineup is out for today, but nothing particularly
is Joey Ortiz
surprising.
in it?
I believe, let me check one more time.
I would assume Joey Ortiz is in it.
Let's see here. Yeah, Frelick, Contreras, Churio, Yelich, Collins, Trang, Durbin, Bowers, Ortiz.
Yeah.
Yep. So Vaughn gets the day off, a much-needed day off. It's incredible. I know he didn't do, well, he did a little offensively last night, but a couple of those plays he made at first, I like Rhys Hoskins well enough, but I've found myself watching Vaughn the last couple of days, though, and I don't know that Rhys is doing that. I don't know that Hoskins would have been able to do that offensively or defensively.
There you go. They still need a bat. I'm convinced of that. Rick writes, Bill, I had no idea they were on TV last night. Just happened to be scrolling through and found them at the end of the 6th inning, so I missed the Miz. But I saw a huge flaw in the Brewers that continues to haunt them. When you have runners in scoring position, you have to be able to bunt or get a bat on the ball. Somehow, you got to hit it to right field somewhere. Yelich was up, 2 on, no outs, the crew up 2-1. Why is he not bunting? He is not Hank Aaron. Move the runners. If they still want to be boneheads about it, at least choke up on the bat and get one to right field and try to move the runners. So instead of having runners in second and third with 1 out, they ended up with that stupid double steal with a runner on second and 2 outs. They fail to score. They are lucky Sal golfed that one out of there to give them a 3-1 lead. You have to score. You have to bunt. You have to get the bat on the ball. Somehow they are not doing it. That is from Rick. Rick, yeah, a couple of base running kind of mistakes, but I'll say this. They're not passive. They don't just sit and wait. They were trying the double steal. It didn't work out. I get it. The aggressive base running by Vaughn getting thrown out at third, I get it. They're trying to be aggressive, trying to make teams make perfect throws. And teams know that going in, which is why at times teams will have error-filled innings, because they put so much pressure on defenses to be damn near perfect. That's the way they play. And I think a lot of fans appreciate that. But I agree with you, there are times that it is maddening. And we talked about that coming out of last weekend. When you are, what was it, 7 for 27, Grant, with runners in scoring position, I think was the stat you gave me, 7 for 27.
Not great. Not as bad as it could have been, but not great.
Right.
They left a lot of runners
not
out
terrible,
there.
but it pretty close. Left a lot of runners on the base paths. And that's, you just, now, if you're doing it early on in innings, you're not bringing a veteran bat off the bench to pinch hit in those situations. But late in ball games, when you need runs, you got to be able to move runners over, and they just don't do it very well at times. And that I agree with. I would love to, because Murph did it a couple of times, dropped down some bunts early on in the season where he called for a couple of things. I think he called for a suicide at one point. So they have done it. It's not like they can't. Because Craig Counsell always used to say, well, you got to be able to do it. And I would always scratch my head like, you're telling me that some of these guys don't even have the ability to bunt? Now, managers and analytics majors will tell you bunting in Major League Baseball is tough because of how hard guys throw. You don't have that reaction time at 95 miles an hour on a fastball that's coming in on you. They don't want to risk the injury, getting hit, busting a finger, busting a thumb, busting a wrist. They don't want to risk it. So there is a greater risk now than there ever has been because of the velocity with which a lot of these guys throw. So I understand it, but damn, you see them work on this in spring training consistently. At some point in time, you got to be able to say somebody in your lineup has to be able to drop one down, just put a bat on the ball, something. But there's a double-edged sword to all of that, and managers are well aware of it. So I think we think of it in terms of, if you were playing Little League and your manager used to yell at you, your coach used to yell at you to drop down a bunt, start at the top of the strike zone, bring it down so you're not fouling it up, always chop it into the ground, always put the ball in play, yada, yada. Okay, we all knew that. But when you got a guy like MIZ-ery up there throwing a slider that starts out at your, shoulder and drops low and away to across the plate, and you're flailing at it, trying to drop down a bunt, it's almost impossible. So I understand where we're coming from, the mentality there. It's just not as easy as it is to say it. Easier said than done. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, do it. 877-867-1670. This is from Mark. Mark says, great game last night. I was there. You were 100% correct. People were up chanting and screaming and yelling MIZ-ery's name with every pitch last night when it came down to a third strike. The place was electric. This seemed like a playoff type of atmosphere, and to be able to finally beat the Dodgers was something to see. I didn't think I'd ever have an opportunity to go back to a game today and see them go for a sweep over the mighty Dodgers, that giant payroll that they have. I'm excited. Go Quintana. Hopefully the Brewers get a win and win over the Cubs. I guess he's talking about the postseason. Anyway, well, thank you very much. Appreciate the email. Love it. Jimmy writes, great open to the show. Love all the mystical commentary. Appreciate it, Jimmy. Thank you. And Adam says, what do you think about Peralta being the only representative of the Milwaukee Brewers? Should MIZ-ery have gotten a look? Had he come up in the beginning of the season, yeah, but I'm not worried about that. Who cares? Not worried about it. Not at all. I know it's something that people want to get up in arms about, but I don't. All-Star games, if you're a guy on that team and you're not being recognized and you've really played well, I get it. We probably get maybe a bit emotional about it. It's our guy. We've got pride, which is great. It's great. I don't want to ever diminish that, but I'd rather see these guys play their ass off, get a few more wins, get some rest, and come back. To me, I'd rather see them playing in the postseason and winning than the Midsummer Classic. You still got a representative, and I still love the All-Star game and all the pomp and circumstance that goes along with it, but I want to see them win in the postseason. That's like that in-season tournament in the NBA. People get juiced about it. Let's raise the banner. To hell with that. I want to see championships, man. I don't want to see mid-season who cares championships on glorified floors. Who cares? I want to see them actually get a win in the postseason. I want to see them get through the first round of the postseason, for gosh sakes. So there you go. Mike, this team is on fire. Our buddy Brewer Mike, you are correct. I agree. Rob Reischel coming in the last hour of the program, by the way. Correct me if I'm wrong?
Yes, correct.
Mike also says last night felt like the World Series. He says Miz is the man. Good stuff. Let's see here. Jeremy says that the strike him out, throw him out was bizarre, though. I think the Brewers are way too aggressive at times with stolen base attempts. I don't ever want them to. I don't want them to play stupid baseball, but there's a fine line between being stupid and aggressive, and I think they're just an aggressive team. I think they're pretty smart in certain circumstances and situations. Not to mention with 2 strikes, in that particular situation, you know that you're not going to get a fastball down Wisconsin Avenue, a good hittable pitch, usually unless it's 3-2, and you don't want to load the bases. So on a 3-2 count with 2 men on, yeah, it's a good place to probably try to pull off a double steal. But not with 2 strikes to create this strike him out, throw him out. It's not the best of scenarios in which to steal. So that I'll agree with you. That was, again, you could look at it as maybe I don't want to call it a base running blunder, but that would be one of the areas where I might not have done that. I might have gone earlier in the count.
I think if you replay last night's game, there's other realities where the Brewers win like 4 or 5-1 because they had base runners who were thrown out. Vaughn got gunned down trying to go to third, and then there was a base hit that probably would have scored him. So the Dodgers were lucky that it was that close, until Frelick's home run made it 3-1 at least, because
100%.
The Dodgers never really sniffed anything other than that 6th inning rally where, Monasterio gunned down a runner at home. They were mostly completely snuffed out by Brewers pitching all night.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Carl says, hey guys, I'm incredibly excited about this Milwaukee Brewers team. I love what Pat Murphy is doing. Do you ever think he's going to win back-to-back Manager of the Year? That's a great question. It doesn't really happen that they go back-to-back like that. I think for him to win Manager of the Year again, you would probably say for the way they started out, and again, you go back to what Vinny Rottino told us in the first hour, go back to May 17th. They're, 3 or 4 games under 500. They're 21 and 25, I think is what he said. And if they win the division, not only win the division, but maybe end up with the best record of either in the National League or baseball, and they just stay at this pace, this torrid clip that they're playing on right now, they overtake the Cubs, they win the division, and they look like the powerhouse favorite with everything that's been put together, you're either going to have Matt Arnold or Pat Murphy win something, I would assume. Now, the other team that's on fire right now is the Toronto Blue Jays. I think they've won 10 straight, if I'm not mistaken. And they have expanded their lead to 3.5 games over the Yankees in the East. So in the American League Manager of the Year, certainly you can go in that direction. Executive of the Year, maybe you look at the Toronto Blue Jays, you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, who are 5 games back, I think, now in the standings there. Maybe in Detroit, but as far as the National League goes, yeah. Because let's say the Brewers end up with 95 wins. Like the next best team would be, say, Toronto or the Yankees with 94, and then they beat the Cubs by 4 games. Cubs get to 91 wins. Maybe the Cubs get a nod because of the turnaround. Maybe Craig Counsell gets recognition because of the turnaround from where they were last year to where they were this year. I don't know. But if it's the Dodgers again, if the Dodgers win the West, the Dodgers aren't winning anything. If the Mets win the East, maybe you look at David Stearns or what they're doing over there. But if they don't win the East by a big margin or don't have the best record in the National League, you could probably look at Murphy and Matt Arnold again, sure, and go, they may win the manager and executive of the year. Especially if they only make one minor move moving forward, because otherwise everything else is pretty much homegrown. You look at the move for Priester, picking up Vaughn, who picked up when Reese Hoskins went down, not having Garrett Mitchell, your starting center fielder this year, being able to manipulate and move the roster around a little bit, getting rid of Willie Adames, Joey Ortiz, if he continues to, swing a hotter bat than he did, Yelich being your DH between Collins and Durbin. I mean, like, come on, man. And then bringing up Mizorowski, Woodruff then comes back, manipulating that roster the entire time until everything started to come together. Hell yeah. You could probably say that you could give Matt Arnold and, Pat Murphy manager of the year. Hell yeah. I'd say that in a heartbeat.
I think what the Brewers are doing this season, what Murphy's doing with them so far this season, is just as impressive as what they did last year. He had Adames last year. I think Murphy did a great job last year. That team had more veterans and had more pop.
They already knew how to win.
And they knew how to win, and Contreras was healthier, at least in the first half of the season. Like, if the Brewers win 90 games this year, and it depends on like which projection, mathematically, that's what they're on pace for through the first half, minus a couple games. Like, to me, that's more impressive than what they did last year. Doesn't mean that he automatically wins manager of the year, because that's not how it works, right? A player can win an MVP and then get better the next year. Doesn't mean they're going to win MVP again. But I'm with you. Like, I think they've faced more challenges this year than last, and the beat goes on. That's really impressive for both Murph and Arnold.
Ash brings up a really good point. I did see this. I was listening to the MLB Network this morning too, discussing it. Said on MLB Central, Mark DeRosa said that as far as the Brewers go, he turned to the camera and said to Mark Antanasio, quote, "Get this team an acquisition at the deadline." Never seen MLB Central say this much about the Brewers. I was listening to them talk this morning about the Brewers as well. They were doing the believe or not believe or whatever that segment of the show was. And do you believe in the Brewers? You believe in Mizorowski, blah, blah, blah. And it was like emphatically yes. And they were saying the same thing. Like, you got to get one more bat. They didn't know where to put him. I mean, obviously third base is a place that, outsiders will look and say you got to slot a guy in. But absolutely. You got to get something, because again, can you get something in twofold? Can you get something that the Cubs are looking at so you can take a piece away from the Cubs and get better yourself, and also say to the guys in the clubhouse, we believe you can win. Let's do this. We're going to go and take a quick break. This portion of it brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue. You over there for breakfast today? Good stuff. Maybe lunch, dinner? Got any kind of a party? Did you get it catered last weekend? Maybe you picked up a whole bunch of barbecue, maybe a whole bunch of pulled pork or the ribs and such, and you took it out to your lake house and you spent the 4th of July grubbing down like you were going to the electric chair later that weekend. Good stuff over at Big Boar Barbecue. Big Boar, B-O-A-R, BigBoarBBQ.com. That is BigBoarBBQ.com. Right there in West Salem, Wisconsin. Great place, family owned. Carter and the gang, 3 brothers own that place. I love our local businesses. Love them. BigBoarBBQ.com. That is BigBoarBBQ.com.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
What I want to do is give the Brew Crew some love because they're scrappy, man. They always have been. You got to love Pat Murphy, but their lineup kind of, we talk about how do you add value? Old school, willing to move runners, hit the ball on the ground, do the little things. They smack you in the mouth with Sal Frelick. 2017 Gatorade high school Massachusetts Football Player of the Year. If you don't think he gets you going, you're lying to yourself. Double. Then we got Jackson Churio, who Brian Anderson's back on the Brewers games, Lauren. I know huge fans of him.
Yeah, I saw that last night.
Do you know Jackson Churio is the youngest player in the big leagues? I did not know that. I feel like he's already, immersed himself as one of, and I know he's not having a great year to start, but, and then a resurgence from Christian Yelich, and I shouldn't say resurgence, he's just healthy. Yeah. But they are a scary, scary team because fastball Freddie can get it done. MIZ-ery goes today. Brandon Woodruff looked darn good. Yeah. So, hey, I need the owner of the Brewers to go out and Lamby Lane do a few things because this team's willing to fight for you and your city. They're willing to fight.
Yeah! We're going to fight for you. Hell yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Welcome back to the program and to this portion of the program, and that fires you up right there from our friends at the Water Doctors. H2, the letter O, doctors.com. The best water softening system out there, hands down. Connecticut water softening. I've got it in my house. I absolutely positively love it. Love it. And whether it's getting your laundry clean, you clean, or getting rid of all the bacteria for you, for your drinking water. How about your kids? How about your pets? Everybody's careful about pets now. I mean, pets are the new kids of the 2020s, right? Heck yeah. I mean,
what did that make the kids? What are the kids?
Right.
Then?
The kids they've fallen off. You know, everybody's worried about farm fresh food for the dogs and stuff now. You know, the kids, eat a ho-ho. Who cares?
Get them a juice box.
But worry about the pets, man. Hell yeah. Take care of the pets. And check it out. Go to the Water Doctors. Anywhere in the state of Wisconsin. 262-549. Who eats ho-hos anymore? 262-549-7733. That's 262-549-7733. That's our friends over there at the Water Doctors. By the way, speaking of ho-hos, people do eat them because I was in God, where was I? Was I at Blaine's Farm in Fleet? I think I was. It was either Blaine's or Menards. And I'm walking through and they had like all the food alleys, aisles. And they had just one that was just loaded with all the different cakes. It was Little Debbie's and it was Hostess. And I remember that. I'm like, oh, ho-hos. I haven't seen those in a while. Box of ho-hos, man.
Deer hunting snacks. That's what those are.
Yes.
Right on the end cap. We would always go to Fleet Farm because we didn't have a farm in Fleet where I grew up. But that's the deer hunters would come in, get the big bags of salted peanuts, and then, Little Debbie's to get you through a cold day in the tree stand. Blaine's is, and Blaine should be a sponsor of this show because Blaine's is right around the corner from my house. And I
rediscovered Blaine's Farm and Fleet. They've changed a lot of the inside of their store, but there's not much there that you can't get. Now, some places have big variety of stuff, like these giant monoliths that Menards has with the lighting and everything. And even Home Depot to a certain extent if you're going to go in for lumber and such. But, man, I go to Blaine's for like everything from batteries to trailer parts for the boat trailer. They have a big area for RVs. They've got a big selection for the boating section. The nutty bars, right, Rick? The nutty bars. They have those, and they have that bulk candy, which I don't even know what they're called. Those caramels with that icing like center in the middle of them. I can't eat the caramels anymore because it pulled a filling out at one point, so I don't eat those things anymore. But I used to get them over there all the time.
You can't handle Werther's anymore. You've aged out.
Yeah,
I thought you aged into Werther's, not the other way around.
No, I'm not. I've never been one of those guys.
Well, most people under 60 aren't. To your credit,
never been a Werther's guy. Even growing up, my mom and dad used to have that stuff. Not me.
You can get a big ass bag of circus peanuts at Fleet Farm or Farm and Fleet, the big orange ones. You like circus peanuts?
Yep. You can get the circus peanuts. You can get giant things of bubble gum. I'm still a bubble gum guy. The old, like you would have at baseball games. God, if they made baseball packs with that gum in it, that craptastic little stick of gum, I'd still eat that. I like going to Dunham's and getting the Big League Chew. The bubblegum Big League Chew. They got the cotton candy bubblegum Big League Chew. So, but Nick says, no, the oatmeal cream pies are the best. No. What are the best? Fudge rounds. That is my weakness. Little Debbie's fudge rounds. And not the fluffy cake ones, the small ones, not those. The flat, fat, non-yeasty fudge rounds that they do in the family pack. Holy crap. I would sit with Vinny Rottino in a meeting in a bathroom and eat those things. I'll tell you that right now.
The media bathroom, it's quite spacious in there.
It is.
There's a good amount of, once you get away from the stall, there's a good congregation area in there.
They did not build that big enough, though. There's only like one stall and then 2 urinals, and that's it for all the media.
Well, that's the problem is unless there's like 40 people covering a game, if it's a big game, you'd see the person's shoes. I don't want other people at my place of work to know that I'm going number 2. Sometimes you gotta. I just don't want other people knowing.
You want to take the doors to the floor. That's what you're looking for.
Or just
all the way down.
Enough stalls to where you can like get lost in the coverage of all of the. But the one stall, you have no cover. There's no
You're
like
the only
exterior.
one in there, man. Everybody knows who's dropping a bomb.
And then what? I'm supposed to walk out at the start of the next inning and look at everyone like they don't know what I was just doing in there. I can't work in an environment like that.
Yeah, I did. Let me give you one piece of advice when it comes to this, and then I'm going to move on from any bathroom talk, at least for the moment. Kristen taught me something. Not that Kristen does this for herself, but she has at times gone to places where women have destroyed the joint, we'll say. And she said she finds it, no matter what it is you do or anybody else, when you walk out, you go, man, be careful in there. Somebody just did some bad stuff, even though it might have been you. So, yeah.
That happened at Palmer's, right?
Yeah, always do that. You walk in, you walk out. Say, oh, got to be careful. Somebody in there just destroyed that joint. Oof.
Hiding in plain sight. I like that. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, you never want to walk out zipping up your pants going, you better light a match.
Yeah, you can be a little bit more subtle than that.
Right. Oh, my goodness. So, there you go. Terry sent me an email and said, I'm right with you with the fudge rounds. I'm telling you, man, it's an underrated snack pack. And they're big and they're heavy. So when you eat one, it's not like you can eat like 5 of them. Like Ho-Ho's, you can eat a box. Back in the day when I was a kid, you could eat a box of those things. Cupcakes, King Dongs, all that stuff, Eat a box of those. But those fudge rounds, they're like, they're just sumptuous goodness, but you can only eat like 1 or 2, and that's it. Otherwise, you get just a case of gut rot. So that's it. 877-8. How do we go from fudge rounds to dropping a bomb and bathroom etiquette?
I don't know. We got buy or sell coming up next. Look, you can have a weird segment as long as all right, coming up next, we have something.
Next, yes, we can do that. Because
especially this time of year.
We've got, because this show at times, we are the place to turn in the state of Wisconsin. And I get it all the time. You guys talk sports. You guys are on it. You guys know it. That's where we turn. You are the standard by which we live when it comes to, sports talk in Wisconsin. But every now and then, this train will go careening off the tracks down the hill and crash and burn into a gully. It just does. So that being said, coming up next, buy or sell is back. I'm excited about this. Buy or sell. So my big hell yeah is coming up. I'm loving it. Hey, speaking of loving it, I got a yesterday, and I think I said this at the beginning of the week, but I got a text yesterday from my buddy Dave, who said, "Hey, I need to remind you, you're coming down, leaving the house on Friday." I said, "Yep, going to be down there and going to take an overnight in Indiana somewhere, and then we'll be at the house on Saturday." "Why? What do you need?" "Don't forget the Stenny's wings." I said, "I promise I won't." He said, "Here's what we need." So I've got to get. This is what the order I had to place yesterday for the group on Sunday, and I had to place 36 plain, 36 mild, 72 hot and honey. And even though they don't travel real well, I am going to pick up extra garlic parm as well. I had to pick up 24 garlic parm. That's all the wings I got to take with me for the gathering on Sunday. And I could grill out. I always tell people I'll grill out. Nah, don't worry about it. Just bring Stenny's wings. Okay. They'll bring potato salad and all the other stuff. All I got to do is go get Stenny's wings. That's it. That's all they want. Bring down Stenny's wings. So I'm stopping at Stenny's. Well, I'm not, but Kristen's going over there at noon on Friday, and they're going to pack them in a big cooler for us. And then all we got to do is throw them in the oven, and that's it. And then just take them up to the pool, and it's going to be a Stenny's wings feast coming up on Sunday down in Indiana at the Lake House. So I'm telling you, when people start sending orders from out of state for Stenny's wings, damn straight those things are good. And oh, by the way, they did ask for 3 or 4 growlers of their award-winning Bloody Mary, so we got to take those as well. Stenny's, second to National Walker's Point, or right there near me now, on Watertown Road in Pewaukee. They've got another one coming to the Mequon area on Donges Bay Road in the old Libby, Montanas, too. That one's going to have an actual ice rink in it for ice hockey, so I'm fired up about that. Stenny's, second to National Walker's Point, Watertown Road in Pewaukee and Lake Country, also coming to the old Libby, Montanas on Donges Bay Road in Mequon. Stenny's, you should be here.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was a collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options, and it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware, and because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side, at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious cups. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in 7/31/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome in the Bill Michaels Show. How we're looking. What a day. What a good day. Hopefully you're enjoying your day. Hey, when you come into the Milwaukee area this week, it is going to be wild and loud, and you're going to have baseball going on and all kinds of good stuff. But do not forget, it is the Harley-Davidson weekend. It's the Harley-Davidson homecoming, and it begins tomorrow. And by the way, speaking aloud, and if you want to crank it up, don't forget our buddy at Tim's Stereo System, motorcycle audio, absolutely, hands down, the best. Loud stereo save lives, baby. Yeah, it does. That's kind of a partial truthity. But nevertheless, if you want the best motorcycle audio installer there is, it's Tim. Tim is fantastic. I would swear by him, and I had him do it to my motorcycle. It took me 2 years to find somebody that I trusted. Finally, I was reluctant. I'm like, oh, okay, go ahead and give it a shot. I have never looked back. It's been fantastic. And all the time I get people that say, let me hear it. I crank it up. It's loud. You don't need giant subwoofers and everything because you don't really hear that anyway when you're doing 40, 50 miles an hour, unless you want to impress somebody when you're rolling at 2 miles an hour through a crowd. But beyond that, it is loud. It is clear. He's got features like brake assist, brighter, wider headlights. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Sounds, SOUNDZ, is the system that he puts in, and I swear by it. It's awesome, whether it's 1 amp or 2 amps and, 6 stereos, 2 speakers, 6 speakers, whatever. Fantastic systems. That is Tim's stereo system. Call him direct, 608. Ask him where he's going to be, too, for the Harley-Davidson rally. Maybe you can catch up with him and be one of his appointments. 608-718-1425. The cool thing is you get to a spot, you drop off your bike, and you say, hey, I'm going to go walk around. I'm going to check out some vendors. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to listen to some music. By the time you come back, boom, stereo, done, installed. I'm not kidding you. And it's done right. That's our buddy Tim at Tim Stereo System. 608-718-1425. And he doesn't do it, so you got a bunch of spaghetti wires hanging all over the place and a fire hazard like a bunch of other installers do it. He is very meticulous about his work. 608-718-1425. 608-718-1425. That's our buddy Tim at Tim's Stereo Systems. It is time for a little buy or sell.
In the world of sports, a lot of people say a lot of things.
Who was on crack? I want Iguodala.
But what passes the big unit test? It's time for Buy or Sell on the Bill Michaels Show.
How we looking? Buy or sell segment. Brought to you by absolutely nobody. Let's move on.
Sorry, I got 2 Brewers questions. And then an NFL one we can wrap up, and that can maybe get us in the mindset for Rob Reischel later. But let's start with the Brewers.
Yes.
Following his win over the Dodgers the other night, Freddie Peralta moved to 10-4 on the year. Second most wins in baseball, only behind Max Fried, who has 11. He's got an ERA of 2.74, which is top 15 in baseball. He's also a perfect 6-0 in his 9 starts at home. Buy or sell, Bill? He's been pitching for us for so long. Brewers fans are underrating Freddie Peralta in 2025.
Yes. We have underrated him on this show.
I was going to say, I definitely have. I'm part of this problem.
Yes. Yes, we have. I think we take Fastball Freddie for granted because he's got the nickname Fastball Freddie back in the day when he was throwing the fastball and it was getting pounded all over the park. And I think that memory is still etched in a lot of people's minds, and we have not allowed him to erase that. We get frustrated, you and I, because we watch Freddie throw 90 pitches in 4 innings. But you cannot deny that he has been really good, and he has only gotten better. To answer the question, it's a hammer down yes. If I'm sitting here as judge and jury, we underrate what Freddie Peralta can do. What we want to see, I think the next step for Freddie is continue to pitch really well. Can he be a 20-game winner this year, do you think?
Could be. He's got 10 before the All-Star break.
Right? Do you think Freddie ends up being a 20-game winner this year? That would be impressive.
Be pretty cool. You just don't get many of those guys these days.
Right? That would be impressive.
I think part of this, too, is he's been here for so long. I think we did this with Rodgers. Anytime you have an athlete on your team forever, you just find little things to nitpick. Or you know what I mean? Like, it's this weird mental cause and effect when a guy's around forever. Like, at the end with Rodgers, it's like, well, yeah, he never throws picks, but that's actually a bad thing.
Right.
It's like, well, you're going crazy because he's been here for so long, right?
But
So
we've underrated him. I think people look at him as not a true ace. I mean, I've even said it. I'm like, he'd be a really good third on somebody else's team, but he's been nothing but solid for this team. He's been a stopper in bad times. What drives us nuts is sometimes he just doesn't attack the strike zone, or his control is not where you want it to be. But Freddie Peralta, absolutely, hands down, he is a cog in this rotation, and he has been vastly underrated by Brewers fans. Now, knock on wood, we don't say that, and he goes out and has 3 straight losses.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been really, really good. And like you said, top 15 in ERA in Major League Baseball. So, and with 10 wins, hell yeah. I mean, this guy could be a 20-game winner. He could end up like 20-8, 20-9 on the season. It'd be fantastic.
And people like you and me bellyache because, well, he's a little wild. It's like, okay, but if he throws 6 shutout innings, maybe we shouldn't complain about that.
Right.
Maybe as much as we do.
I think what our complaint is, and what I look at it as, he could be a 7-inning pitcher if he wasn't burning up so many early on in a ball game, going through an inning, because he's just throwing so many, he's getting behind in so many counts. And ultimately, when you get behind in a count consistently, it's going to end up costing you anyway. But he has found a knack to be able to dig down deep and get pitches when he needs them. But if he was just a little better, he would be dynamite lights out.
Lights out. Too.
Yeah.
Question number 2, or I guess prompt number 2, not really a question, buy or sell. The Brewers are about to have a 3-game wildcard series. A little bit of a pretend game here. Let's pretend you could arrange the starters any way you want. Forget their schedule and the rest and all those things. Freddie starts game 1. let's say Mizorowski starts game 2, buy or sell, the next pitcher that you'd trust most is Brandon Woodruff. He's only made one start in like 2 years, but it was very good. You're not there yet.
No, if I had to go number 3, the way he's been pitching, I'd go Quintana. He's a veteran. I'd go Quintana. I'd leave it the way it is. Peralta, Mizorowski, Quintana. Not with one. I mean, Woodruff, give me the end of the season, I could change my mind, so I'll reserve the right. And Priester has pitched extremely well.
He's another option too, yeah.
But Quintana is a veteran. He's been there, done that. He knows what it takes to get into a postseason and to get through a postseason. I would go right now. I would leave it the way it is right now. I wouldn't mess with it too much because you got veteran, rookie, veteran, young arm, veteran. So you've always got somebody there that's got the knowledge and has had the performance capability in the past to stop the bleeding. And I would leave Quintana there. But again, like I said, I reserve the right to change my mind. And I'm excited right now because with Woodruff being at the back of that rotation, it eventually becomes Woodruff, Peralta, Mizorowski, and then another veteran.
Yeah.
You know, so the way that kind of leads up, I like it. I like the way they've got that rotation right, which is kind of what we thought about when we looked at Chad Patrick's last start before they ended up making the move to bring Woodruff back. I kind of said, no, they're going to put Chad Patrick down because Woodruff's going to take his spot. And then when you look at it, you're going to have that style of rotation. But to answer your question, I would leave it the way it is. Quintana's pitched well. He's a knowledgeable cat. And, if I had to do it today, now in a month, we'll maybe come back and revisit this question.
Yeah, Brandon Woodruff just returned. It's a fair answer.
Yeah.
Lastly, and maybe we can roll this over. We can talk about this a little bit at the start of the next hour, but I was looking at the 2025-2026 odds to win the NFC. The Eagles are plus 370. The Lions are plus 550. That's 1 and 2. The next 5 teams are Rams, Niners, Commanders, Vikings, Packers. And I want to know, I guess I'll word it in a buy or sell. If you had to bet your next paycheck on a team other than Eagles, Lions to win the NFC, it would be the Rams. Buy or sell? It's the next team in the odds. So really, I'm asking you your next favorite team, but I got to phrase it as a buy or sell.
If I had to bet the paycheck there, yes. Because very quietly, they were good last year. And we can't deny that. They were good. They found themselves in the postseason. They go into Philadelphia, and they ended up getting beat. But I like what they've done this offseason. And the fact that now you not only have Puka Nacua, but now you've got an additional player in Devontae Adams. You still have Tutu Atwell over there. Obviously, they've upgraded what they believe to be their center position. They still have Tyler Higbee over there at the tight end. Matthew Stafford. He's got, Oh, by the way, don't forget, you got the backup. If Matthew Stafford goes down, you know who the backup is? Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's right. Jimmy G's there.
Jimmy G is there.
God, he's got a tough life just bouncing around California teams making backup money.
Right? So they picked up Poona Ford. He's now their nose tackle. They got a little bit better with Nate Landman, who's the inside linebacker. They're already pretty good defensively anyway. I just think their defense or their offense just now got quite a bit better. And I would probably say that would be my third pick if I had to. The Commanders would probably be right there. If that's a 1A, certainly the Commanders are probably a 1B if they don't have that sophomore slump. I still don't believe until I see it before my very eyes that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be there. And I still am on a big question mark regarding McCarthy up in Minnesota. I mean, I could even maybe put as a 1C, I could probably put the Packers there because this is that kind of make or break year for the Pack too. So I can go in that direction.
I'm with you. I think the Rams are going to be awesome this year. So that might just be my pick over Detroit or Philly even.
Right.
Go ahead.
I could do that. And that's buy or sell. That's kind of how we do it. That's always fun. It's a good segment, man. Good stuff. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. This portion of it brought to you by our friends at Marquardt RV, MARKQUART. They even have rentals. I didn't know they had rentals, but they have rentals. If you're looking to take a week off and hit the road somewhere, and maybe you're thinking about doing it in style in an RV of some type or a tow behind or a fifth wheel, whatever it is, they got something for everybody. And they pride themselves in their service. Go to Marquardt, MARKQUART, MarquardtRV.com. That is MarquardtRV.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome, Bill Michaels Show. I did it last night. Yeah, Al Capone roast, grilled it out back. It was delicious. Sat there and watched that Brewers game. You too. Maybe you're going to the game today or going to the games over the weekend. Little tailgate fair. Go to Robert's Specialty Meats Waukesha.com. Robert's Specialty Meats Waukesha.com on Sunset Drive in Waukesha. Right there last night. That's where I kind of crashed out. Right there. I kind of built with the flowers and everything that we put up, a little euphoria back there. That's my own utopia. I was sitting in that pulled out chair right there by the table last night. For those that are watching on the live stream, had the TV on underneath the tiki bar. Oh, it was good. It was good.
Good looking patio.
Yep. Good stuff last night. Had a cigar that I brought back from Punta Cana. Not a big one, smaller one. So it was a banner night last night. Really, really good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-1670. Kevin says, Bill, I get the feeling that Ed Policy does not like Matt LaFleur. We all know the limits of Matt LaFleur. Hopefully Ed puts some fear into him to get over the hump in big games. P.S. Fire Matt LaFleur today. Week leader, bring on Rich Bisaccia. That is from Kevin. No, if he didn't like him, he would have already been in somebody's ears saying, this has got to go. I just think that it's not about like or dislike. It's about the results. And the same thing with Brian Gutekunst. I think Ed Policy doesn't want to jump into the pool both feet and go, oh, we're signing everybody, and live to regret it. Remember, Mark Murphy took over, and then ultimately he had everything in place. He had Mike McCarthy, he had Ted Thompson, everything was set. Ed Policy's like, I'll just see 1 year, see what happens, and hopefully midway through the season, things are really, really good. Guys will get their contracts. They won't go into another year as lame duck general managers and head coaches, and we'll get it done. But I don't think it's about like or dislike. I think it's just about the results that are, on the field. And they've been a consistent winning football team. You're right. They just need to get over that hump. I agree with you there. Don't go anywhere. We're at the halfway point. Speaking of halftime, 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers will go for a sweep of the defending World Series champion Dodgers this afternoon at American Family Field. They will do so about 15 hours since Jacob Mizrowski's latest electric performance for the crew. After getting a leadoff home run to Shohei Ohtani, the rookie would go on to pitch 6 innings, allowing just 4 hits and striking out 12 and a win for the crew. It came on the same day as future Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw was on the mound for L.A. The fact that he outdueled Kershaw felt great for Mizrowski.
Yeah, I mean, you have all the respect in the world to face Kershaw and, the 3,000 Ks. It's awesome to see a guy like that in matchup against him. But, I saw something on online that he didn't know who I was, so I hope that he knows me now. It's kind of cool. But, it is what it is.
Today, Brewers going to give the ball to Jose Quintana. Comes in 6-3 with a 3.44 ERA. Dodgers counter with Tyler Glasgow. He enters 0-1 with a 4.50 ERA. First pitch coming up at 1:10 after today. Brewers will get tomorrow off before opening up a final series before the All-Star break on Friday against Washington.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, the Bucs last night continued their announcements of signings that had previously been reported. That included the addition of Gary Harris on a one-year deal and the re-signing of Ryan Rollins. Turning to the Packers, they will get training camp going 2 weeks from today in Green Bay. Going to be the first of 14 practices open to the public, including the annual family night on August 2nd. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome. I cannot believe 2 hours down that fast. 2 hours yet to go, but we flew by that first 2 hours. Flew by. Coming up a little bit later on the program, Rob Reischel is going to be here. We'll talk with him some Packers off-season and such. Looking forward to that. But, man, the first 2 hours of this program just motored past today. Motored past. MIZ-ery was on fire last night, and they ended up adding the MIZ-ery to the Dodgers going for the sweep today. Quintana goes to the hill today for the Brewers. So make sure you stay here. Now, if by chance your affiliate peels away for Brewers baseball, you can find us in many different facets. We always appreciate it when you do. You can go to youtube.com. That is youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can watch us right there. Watch us right there. You can also track us down on Twitter, on X, at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. You can find Grant at Wisco Grant, WISCO. We also have a live stream over there on Twitter, on X. You can see us on Instagram. We're live streaming on Instagram, The Bill Michaels Show. We're live streaming on Facebook, The Bill Michaels Show. Not on TikTok. TikTok, they got a bug right in their colon. I don't know what about, but they do. So maybe the next couple of days we go back on. Maybe by the time I get back from vacation, maybe I'll do some lives, like a TikTok live or a Facebook live or something down there on the deck overlooking the lake from the lake house. Maybe we'll do that. You can find us on Twitch TV, on Kick TV, on LinkedIn TV. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. You can hit up the website, thebillmichaels.com. You can find us via the app to listen to us anywhere and everywhere. That's The Zone, Z-O-N-E, The Zone, Madison. And you can also track us down after the fact on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts as well. Don't forget, and we are also a television show Saturday nights, 8 o'clock Central Time, right here, My24 TV in Milwaukee. My24 TV in Milwaukee. Always love our people over there in the cheap seats. Don't forget, smash the like button over on YouTube when you watch us. We are pushing that. So thanks for that. As well. It's all free. Thanks for that as well. So there you go. Wisco Grebes says a Brewers win today would be huge. The Nationals have looked like crap lately, so it should be a great weekend at AmFam Park. I'm loving it. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is. Got an email here, and this one is from Jimmy. Jimmy says, hey, Bill, huge win today if the Brewers can get it. You're right. Winning 8 out of their last 12 would be a knockout of the ballpark, pardon the pun, for the Milwaukee Brewers as they chase down the Chicago Cubs. Where are you spending your vacation? Jimmy, we always go to Indiana. There's a lake house in Indiana that I've been going to, had for years. I think, God, go back to 2003, 2004. Been going there for a long time. So that'll be it. Good stuff. What else here? This is from Haley. Haley says, going to the game today. Any fare you recommend? Haley, I'm sorry, I'm only reading this now. You sent this at the beginning of the show. We just got a lot of emails today. Fare as in F-A-R-E. Haley, do whatever you do, whatever you like, because I can't change your mind now. You should be at the ballpark already. The game starts in an hour, so get there. Get there. Mike wants to know, are you going to be at the Wisconsin State Fair this year? I'm going to be coming out to the Bud Pavilion. Yes, we will be, Mike. Mike, by the way, living up in Shawano. So, Mike, thanks for the email. Yes, which reminds me, coming up at the end of the month on Thursday and Friday, the 31st and the 1st, we will be live at the Goose Island Ale House, the Bud Pavilion. The Bill Michael show is going to be there for the opening of the Wisconsin State Fair. We hope to get Sherry Black, the executive director, on again this year. Sherry's great. Love Sherry. And hopefully we get a chance to talk to her again. They'll do the tapping of the keg every day. I think it's like 2 or 3 o'clock. So come by and say hi. They've always got something new, something brewed just for the State Fair over there at the Goose Island Ale House. So it'll be a lot of fun. Always is. And right after our broadcast on the 1st, so on the 31st, we're going to be there. On the 1st, we're going to be there. And on the 1st, once we get done with that, boom, everything packs up and off to South Dakota we go for the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. And we will then be broadcasting live on that following Monday. We'll be live in Sturgis on Monday and Tuesday. We've been asked to ride and help lead the ride with Jesse James Dupree and Michael Ballard and others on Wednesday. We'll be doing that. And then Thursday, and we got Disturbed. The guys from Disturbed are going to be joining the show on Tuesday. We'll talk with Jesse James Dupree from Jackal, who's going to be playing out there on Thursday. Who knows? Maybe the guys from Tesla stop by, or Hank Williams Jr. I don't know. We'll just whoever happens to come by, we're gonna bring people on. So we got a buddy that we see every year. He does down in Arkansas. He does rock radio down in Arkansas. Our buddy Jeff Allen. Maybe we'll bring Jeff Allen on just to BS a little bit. By the way, Jeff's a Steelers fan, so we'll see what he has to say. Maybe about Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? But we'll have Jeff join us at some point. So
I feel like I could have some guesses about a rock radio guy now having to deal with Aaron Rodgers playing for his football team.
Right.
I feel like I could place a bet on how he feels about it. I have no way of knowing for sure, but I could make a guess.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff's a cool dude too. So we'll talk. He's not a huge sports fan, but he does his show right next to us. And the difference is we do a talk show, so we're constantly on. He does the, hey, coming up next, Motley Crue. Hey, they're out on tour right now. And, Vince Neil, boy, he looks like he, went on Nutrisystem, whatever. And we'll be back at it, after this. And then they take a quick weather break and then the music plays. And 10 minutes later, maybe he has to do something. So he does a show next to us right there at the top balcony of Pappy Hoyle Campground, which is just stunning. The view up there is incredible, the Bear Butte and everything. So looking forward to that. But yeah, we're going to be at Wisconsin State Fair. Absolutely.
I don't know if I'm tough enough to do rock radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Brewers, Dodgers, and I will talk about it after 3 days grace next. Yeah. It's like no one's going to take me seriously.
I did rock radio for a couple of years, bounced around, did news talk and played a bunch of stuff at a little tiny station. Then did rock radio for a while, had the long hair and the earring and all that crap.
Did you have a rock name, a rock DJ name?
Oh God, I had numerous names. Yes. I had, the there was I did a morning show with two other guys. It was Wampus, Wolf Boy, and Wild Man. I was Wild Man. So Wampus was just a guy that he got that name because the dude smoked more pot than anybody I've ever seen, including my old college roommate.
All right.
So Wolf Boy was just this little skinny dude that he was a mess. They were a lot of fun to work with, but he was a mess. And then it was Wild Bill when I did country. I did a country station where that was for a short period of time. I moved back home because my son was sick and I was doing some country radio. But the station that I worked at, the company then bought a Christian station, a Christian rock station, and flipped it to sports. And I've been doing sports ever since. So it was kind of a weird way to get from point A to point B, but that's kind of how that happened. So I was Wild Bill. That was easy. And I only had to change my name there. That's when everything changed. But I changed my name there because they used my real name on the air. And my dad, I came home the very first night I was on the air. My dad worked like really weird hours. He drove a truck and did sales and traveled. So he would get up every day like at 4:30 in the morning and get home at like 7 o'clock at night and, be up for an hour or two and then go to bed, and then did it every day. And I got home one night. I worked till midnight. I got home. It was like 1:30. My dad was sitting in a chair. He said, "Sit down. I want to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." And my dad's name and my name were the exact same. And this is back in the day before you had like massive cell phones. This is early 90s. And my dad said, if I get one more phone call here from a 12-year-old girl wanting you to play Garth Brooks, you're out of the house. So whatever it is you need to do, you change your name. And it was Wild Bill after that. That was it.
Got to protect the family image. I like that.
Didn't use the last name anymore. That was all she wrote. Yeah. And it wasn't so much that, I didn't want to make him mad. It was just that I had no other place to go. I wasn't making a lot of money at the time.
You didn't have any other choices.
I didn't have a choice, man. Otherwise, I'd go from the basement floor to down the street. So who knew? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, do it. What else do we have here? This one's from Cassidy. Cassidy says, what moves do you think the Brewers are going to make leading up to the All-Star break or after? Well, they're not making any moves before the All-Star break, Cassidy. But a lot, the All-Star game is kind of known when GMs get together at the All-Star game. That's where a lot of the groundwork has started to be laid because they see each other face to face. So you'll get those meetings down a hall. You'll get those meetings at a dinner. Once the unofficial first half of the season ends on Sunday and then guys start flying off for the day of the home run derby, you've got agents, you have got GMs, plus players. They're all, where is the All-Star game this year? Atlanta.
Yeah.
They'll all be in Atlanta. So GMs, assistant GMs, scouts, they'll all be talking. And you do that. Yeah, what if, hey, what would it take? Hey, what do you think? Hey, boy, your guy's pretty good. And then you get, yeah, he's been working out and this and that. And you always build up your player. So that's when those conversations begin and interest is peaked. And then after that, usually when they return back over those quiet days is when things will begin to heat up. And then as that trade deadline approaches, you'll see some deals being made. So that's kind of how that works. If you've ever been to an all-star event, with Major League Baseball. So that's it. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. 877-867-1670. Backyard Brew says, how soon does Mark Antanasio look to extend MIZ-ery? Yes, he's under team control for 6 years, but to keep him long-term would be nice. Offer a carrot for 8 for $120 million, average $15 million per season. I think they would probably do that after next year. That's about the time that you would start. Because after next year, it gives him this half a season plus part of next year to really solidify himself to go, okay, this guy's a real deal. And then you throw that carrot. If, say he finishes this year incredibly strong and looks that good, then maybe you do it right away. Maybe you do the Jackson Cheerio thing, the Ryan Braun thing, whatever, and you lock him in right away. Same thing.
You basically just buy out the arbitration years so it's stable for the next 5 or 6 years or whatever.
Exactly. So you could do that. The risk you run, here's the downside to doing it, waiting until the end of next season. The downside is, say he ends up winning 21 games next year with a record number of strikeouts and just there is no tail off. If anything, he gets better. Well, you just cost yourself probably $50 million, at least. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they take a look at it at the end of the season if he continues to pitch well. He's got $100+ million arm. He has now solidified himself with this Brewers team and in Major League Baseball. And he has got, unless something, knock on wood, catastrophic happens, generational money is coming his way. So that he's not worried about. Just stay healthy, keep doing what you do, and keep pitching the way you're pitching. It's just opposed. I shouldn't say just opposed. It just depends on at what point you want to jump into the pool with him. At what point do you want to pull the trigger on it? But he's got generational wealth coming his way. No doubt about it. Hell yeah. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. We'd love to talk to you. Zach says, what about Harrison Bader? Veteran bat, still good defensively. I don't mind. That might not be a bad move. That might not be a bad move at all, to be perfectly honest with you. So you love to get a lefty, though. I believe Bader's a righty. But here's the other question. Are the Twins going to let him go? I would assume so. It's not like you're getting a guy that's coming in hitting 280, but he's still got pop. He's still going to give you 25 plus home runs usually on a season, 20, 25 home runs on a season. Although over the last couple of years, he really hasn't hit that. He hasn't really hit 25 home runs consistently. As a matter of fact, I don't think he's ever hit 25. I'm just pulling up his stats here. He's got 11 this year. 11 home runs this year, but he's never hit more than 16 in one season. That was back in 2021. His batting average has always been somewhat low. You're right, he's a veteran guy. I mean, it's not, put it this way, not going to cost you much.
Well, here's my question then. Well, if that's the way you're going to go, just play Blake Perkins as your fourth outfielder. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just going to get, I keep using this example, which is unfair to Mark Canha, who's a fine ball player, but like, if you're just going to go out and get some version of Mark Canha, I'll just roll with this.
Yeah.
Like it's we don't need to shuffle around the deck chairs.
I don't know.
Go out and make a splash move if you want, but otherwise don't waste my time.
I did not realize he wasn't, I knew he hit a few home runs, but I thought his power numbers were better than that. And they're not. I wouldn't go get him. I agree with you. I wouldn't go get him. OPS is 774, not bad. Only 8 stolen bases. 21 walks, 63 strikeouts. His on-base percentage is .331, so not terrible there. But yeah, I wouldn't, no. This season, he's giving you pop. But again, the most home runs he's ever hit in 1 year was 16. And that was in 401 plate appearances. 16. No, I wouldn't do it. I had to pull up his stats for whatever reason, I just thought he had better power numbers than that. Because I knew he wasn't a big average guy. I mean, he's
got good fielding range.
Yeah.
He's near the top of the league in that. He's always been a good outfielder, but so is Blake Perkins.
Yeah, but you're right. You're looking for pop, and he's not going to give you that. No, I wouldn't do that. No, I got to go back on my own word and correct myself. No, I wouldn't do it. 877-867-1670. Well, we'll get into that because we've talked about different players that are on the open market and different trade rumors that are out there. So we'll get into that maybe a little bit when we come back as well. Hey, our friends at Buzzer Billy's out there. Don't forget this weekend, good weekend. Going to go out and watch some Brewers baseball, maybe spend some time outside, little time out there in the Cooley region. Hell yeah. Check out our friends at Buzzer Billy's, Pearl Street, La Crosse, Wisconsin, upstairs, the Starlight Lounge. I watched a documentary last night after the game on the Rat Pack. And I didn't realize the Rat Pack was really only together 5 years, 5 big years out in Vegas and on tour. But that was it. 5 years for the Rat Pack. But it still feels like when you go in the Starlight Lounge upstairs, like they could come out and start crooning you at any point in time. It's fantastic. Buzzer Billy's downstairs, great food, great soup. That Wisconsin beer cheese soup is fantastic. Upstairs, Starlight Lounge, baby. Good place. Pearl Street, La Crosse, Wisconsin. More of the Bill Michaels Show is next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was the collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options. And it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware. And because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side, at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious cups. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Server restrictions apply in 7/31/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I need the owner of the Brewers to go out and Lamby Lane do a few things because this team's willing to fight for you and your city. They're willing to fight.
Welcome to the Michael Show. If you are coming in this weekend to the Milwaukee area, Harley-Davidson homecoming, maybe you're coming in for a Brewers weekend series, No better place to go to eat. If you're just going to sit down, relax, get the best Italian food you're ever going to stick in your grill, that is Calderon Club. Go down and say hi to our buddy Gino down there at Calderon Club, 838 Old World 3rd Street, downtown Milwaukee, right across the street from the Hyatt Hotel. And whether it's going in there for the award-winning spaghetti and meatballs, the thin crust pizza, the spicy penne saucina, go in there for the eggplant, which is a spectacular appetizer, the bruschetta, I can go on and on. I mean, that is fantastic. Then, if, say, maybe they're either packed or you don't want to go completely authentic, you want to go to more of the Napolitana style of pizza, got to be authenticated and certified VPN right there. Yeah, San Giorgio, right next door. Those pizzas are fantastic too. I mean, that place is awesome. Both places with authentic, great Italian food. San Giorgio next door, Calderon Club, both on the corner, 838 Old World 3rd Street, downtown Milwaukee, right across the street from the Hyatt Hotel. Stop in, tell Gino and the whole staff that we said hi. So there you go. There's a lot of rumors floating around out there about who maybe the Brewers are interested in. Everything from Alex Bregman to, which I find a little bit interesting because I don't know. I mean, Bregman has Scott Boras as now. The Boras has worked well before with the Brewers, so I shouldn't say I would kind of be skeptical of that. But I don't know if I want to go in that direction when it comes to working with Scott Boras. Now you got to trade him, but whether or not that would be something that the Brewers would want to get into. Obviously, with Rhys Hoskins being down, you've got a guy in Andrew Vaughn already. That trade is seemingly already worked out for the Milwaukee Brewers. But we'll wait and see what happens over there. You've got some pieces you could move. You've got some good young pieces, but what else do you think can happen? Who else are you going to go after at this point? You're looking for pop, but you don't want to give up too much. And you're looking for, I don't even know if you're going to need a starter. I got to be honest with you, Grant. This is one of the more interesting times of the year for the Brewers, because before we always knew you got to get this guy or that guy. There was always somebody, some space where you thought, okay, they got to go get this guy. But they don't have to do anything. They're just looking for a bat. You know what I mean? And they're really, I mean, unless they go in the realm of pitching, which I don't think they're going to do. So you're looking for almost the perfect, you're looking for a guy on an expiring contract, a guy that still has pop, a guy that's not going to cost you a lot, a veteran. That's a very thin pigeonhole to put somebody into, right?
Yeah, and I think they like all their guys at most of these spots. It's not like third base or short is this black hole, like maybe it was 2 months ago. First base, I suppose you could stand to improve there. The problem is the moves the Brewers have typically made are kind of moves around the fringes. And I don't think a fringe guy is going to improve in any of these spots. Like, I don't think you're going to be a drastically better team. Sure, you can have depth, but you can only play 9 guys at once.
Right.
And, pinch hitter. Okay, but, who are you pinch hitting for then? Okay, so we're going to hit some guy who's not that good for Joey Ortiz. Like, that doesn't move it for me.
Right.
So do something legit or just continue to roll with the guys that you have if you believe they're the guys of the future.
It was kind of interesting because there was a lot of talk about Shelby Miller possibly being on an open market. Maybe the Cubs were going to be interested in him, and then he goes on the IL with its forearm strain, and that kind of shot those trade rumors down. There's still Eugenio Suarez, who a lot of teams are talking about. And the only thing I can say with that is, yeah, that would be great. The problem, I believe, with the Eugenio Suarez thing is I would be shocked if the Brewers did it. Here's the reason why. Because everybody's looking at Suarez, which means you could end up in a bidding war, and that's not where the Brewers go. You don't want to overpay for Eugenio Suarez. So as good as that bat is, and he can anchor at third, I think that the Cubs are looking, and I would love to see the Brewers beat the Cubs out for his services, but there are other teams looking for a bat. And I think it's going to be probably 4, 5, 6 teams that are going to be involved for Eugenio Suarez. And if the bidding begins to go up, that's not what the Brewers do. So as much as we've talked about it, I don't think they go in that direction. I don't think Suarez is going to be the guy. If they did it, I would like just be completely floored. I would say, okay, then they see something in this team that even probably more so than what the rest of us see, because they're going for it if they do that move. But I don't, that's usually not a Brewers move. So I've had a couple of people email about that. Well, what do you think of the Suarez deal? I think it would be great. But I also believe that there are quite a few teams that are looking at him. And I think that carrot has been dangled out by the Arizona Diamondbacks enough to where there's going to be quite a few teams that are going to be interested in that. Most likely bidding war is going to begin, and the Brewers aren't going to get in on that. I just don't see that happening. Just don't see it happening. 877-867-1670. If they do something, it's going to be a Priester trade. Something like that, where you don't see it coming. You don't expect it. And then when you look at it, you're going to go like, what? And then you go, oh, okay. We'll see how that works out. And hopefully it does. That's the kind of deal the Brewers are going to make. It's not going to be a blockbuster. It's not going to be a big name, I would assume. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. I know Wisco Grebe says Jim Bowden has Bregman potentially landing with the Brewers at the trade deadline. How can they afford his remaining $13 million in 2 months? Then they only spent $5.5 million last winter. Well, they can afford it. Look at it this way, Wisco Greaves. They've reduced the payroll almost $30 million over the last 4 seasons. So they can afford it. They don't mind if it's a rental and you got to pay him $13, $15, $18, $20 million over the next 3 months. They don't mind that because they know they don't have to pay it for long if it's going to get you there. What they'll look at as, and this is what sucks, what they'll look at as, how much do we have to pay out? How much will that eat into whatever profitability we have? And then there's a balance there. Because they won't break the bank. It's not like they're going to go get an Aaron Judge or something like that. They won't break the bank for that. So, but if you have to take on that salary, that means you're not giving up a lot coming out of the farm system unless you get into a bidding war. And then again, the Brewers won't do that. You know? So 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. I don't think they make a deal for Suarez. I just don't.
No, I feel like at this point, he's the top guy, and the top guy is typically very expensive. And we've already gotten reporting from Chicago about the Cubs. It's like they're looking to win the deadline. Like they're looking to swing big because this might be the only year that they have Kyle Tucker, which makes sense. But when you have even one team around the league in that mindset, and there's probably more, it makes it really hard to get good value in a trade at the deadline when everyone's fired up to try to make it happen.
Yeah, there's another one. There's another rumor that's out there. I want to talk about that when we come back, because that's another one where I'm like, no, I don't see that happening. But and that goes back to the Alex Bregman thing, that he, if he doesn't agree to a long-term extension, the Brewers aren't going to do it. That's for sure. Where he wants a long-term deal. Now the Red Sox would like to extend him before the trade deadline. We know that, but they, Scott Boras is his guy. Again, he wants big money. Boras is hell-bent to take him to free agency if they don't sign a long-term deal. He signed that 3-year, $120 million contract before the season, but it has an opt-out after this season. So if the Red Sox were to trade him to Milwaukee or elsewhere, that would almost guarantee that the third baseman winds up becoming a free agent this winter. And they don't mind paying that, but I don't know. I will say this, though. Before the quad injury this season, I think he was like up over 900, like 930 something OPS. So he's still good. I just don't see them doing it. We'll see. I mean, who knows what happens, but I don't see them doing that deal either. All right, let's do this. We'll step away. We'll take a quick break, come back. A lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The open road is calling, and the ride
begins at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This July, you could burn rubber on a custom Harley-Davidson in the Fire Up Your Fantasy motorcycle giveaway. Play with your rewards card all July for entries. Thursday drawings for extra cash and reward play. Fire up your fantasy. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. Big night tonight. Wednesday Night Live is back at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. Gen Z. Gen Z takes the stage tonight. They're really good. If you've never seen them. Yeah. Gen Z takes the stage tonight at the Wisconsin State Fair Park in the Bud Pavilion. The gates open up at 6 o'clock. The music starts at 7, goes to about 10:30 tonight. Looks like it's going to be a pretty decent night, too. No rain tonight. So big night tonight at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. Motorcycle parking is free. I think I charge $5, $6, $7 or something like that for cars. But the admission is free. They got food. They got beverages, indoor and outdoor seating, and just a lot of fun. If you've never been to a Wednesday Night Live, man, big night tonight coming up. Gen Z rocking the house. And don't forget, this weekend, Third Ward Beer Garden still open. They've got musical lineups as well. Go to Third Ward Beer Garden at Catalano Square. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram for all the information. But big night tonight. Wednesday Night Live is back at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. Good stuff. The skipper, Pat Murphy, for your Milwaukee Brewers, sat down and chatted with the media after a giddy night last night. Take a listen to what Murph had to say after last night's game.
Who we got? How you doing? What's your name?
Oh, my name is Aki.
Who?
Aki.
Did I meet you earlier?
Last year.
Last year. Okay. Interns here. Who else we got? You're here. You were here earlier in there? You haven't?
Yeah, no.
What's your name?
Naldo.
Naldo?
Yeah.
Nice. Do you know Yuka?
Yuka, yeah.
Sure. Okay, what do we got? Yuka can answer me a question.
Everyone else is go.
Go ahead.
Murph, yesterday you talked about Freddie's confidence and how
You're asking the first question. You're an intern.
Big swings.
Big swings. I like it. I actually don't like big swings because big swings, there's a lot more effort, right? More effort in big swings instead of staying what? Short, direct to the ball, squared up, right? Big swings, pass. Next question.
But if I miss the 12 strikeouts, I think 2 or 3 were on the fastball. The rest was the secondary stuff. Did that stand out to you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the kid again has elevated his game to another level. You know, like giving up the leadoff home run. It's like getting knocked down in the first round. You know, you got to stand up and you know, here's one of the best hitters in the game, and he leaves a breaking ball up. Didn't finish it. Gives up a homer. And wow, you know, it's like taking a stiff one in the first round. And then he got back up, took a standing 8, got back up and battled. And we normally could have taken him out in the 6th, but his stuff just ticked up in the 6th. And we're like, keep him in. And, you know, he went through the heart of the order 3rd time. And that's not easy against a team like this. So hats off to him and to William, the job he did. And it's just really great to see. And we played really good defense. Monstera made a really nice play in the 6th, and Vaughn made a nice play in the 6th. And it just, everybody kind of came together. And that was good. And our relief pitching after that, Koenig, Uribe, and McGill, that's real good. That's as good as Koenig's thrown the ball in a while. And what can you say? Uribe and McGill have been great. McGill, really underrated.
I was going to say, Murph, that's 2 runs allowed against the Dodgers in 18 innings so far. I mean,
yeah, I mean they're not at 100%. They're not at their best. They're not in their best state right now. But you know, maybe we aren't either. So it's like, just keep not worrying about that. You know what I mean? They're going to be plenty good, and they are plenty good. So can't worry about, that stuff. But our pitching staff's been very, very good, and this means a lot to him. So,
Mark, how important was that sixth inning just for his development to get into that jam with 2 on and nobody out, to be able to get himself out of it when he's at the end of an outing like that?
Yeah. I mean, that's the maturity we're talking about. That's why we, in the back of my mind, I was like, hey, I want to win this game. But what an experience for Miz to go through this and face Freeman and Pajes and, in a big situation. I mean, that's what it's about. And he got the job done. So, yeah, you feel great for the kid. You feel great for him.
After that first Ohtani at bat, he makes that mistake with the curveball. The second time he comes up to go right back at him with that same pitch and execute and get him.
And that's William's help. That's William understanding. Like, look, you gotta know that your curveball's plenty good when you execute it. That's the game. Pitching is not just throwing 100 miles an hour and not having something to go with it. So it's really, he's a pitcher.
Mark, we've talked about Sal and the leadoff spot and just what he's been able to provide as a spark, but the power development for him has kind of been a new thing. Now he's 7th of the season. Just kind of, what have you seen from him to tap into that more this year?
Let's not talk about Sal and power, okay? He's 5'5" and 155. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Anybody clicks a ball in the front. You know what I mean? If you click a ball, it's going to leave. Let's not start putting that in his head. Do you know what that would do to Sal? Want to keep him right where he is. He's a year away from Brandeis graduate school. You know what I mean?
Or how about the approach against Kershaw in the 4th, stringing all those singles together and.
Yeah, I mean, Kershaw was great. I mean, you got to say it. I mean, he didn't give us anything to hit early, and he rolled through us just like he can. And you start looking around going, wow, he's a veteran. And I was trying to think along with him, and he was a step ahead, and he was really, really good. But guys settled in, and they stayed pretty disciplined all in all.
Mark, you mentioned Monasterio, but over the last week, this isn't the first time he's kind of come up big. Is he playing himself into a little more?
Yeah, I mean, he's very capable. I think he's playing himself to our roster. You know what I mean? Because he can play 4 infield positions, 2 outfield positions, and maybe 3, and that's a valuable piece. And he's playing well. This is his best baseball. He had a stretch like this last year too, and I'm happy he's part of our club.
Miz is getting it done on the mound, but from an organizational standpoint, what's gone into kind of allowing him to focus purely on baseball this rookie season?
As opposed to focusing on
some of the outside noise, a lot of the attention that's come with it.
Yeah, that's who the kid is. The kid is he wanted this to happen, and he wanted to be good at it. He wants to be good at it. And he understands there's other guys in the room that can help him through it. Like, you can't get involved in that or that or that. You people come to him with some good, really smart questions and some really internish questions. You know what I mean? That puts a little more stress on him. You like that word, internish? But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. He's got a lot of people just so happy for him. And just to kind of keep it all in perspective and know, hey, look, 5 days from now or tomorrow, I got to do my work. And the next day, I got to do my work and get myself ready for that 5th day. And it's a lot on a young man. But he knows the deal. He knows the deal. And the pitching coaches have been unbelievable with him. They're on top of him. Yeah.
Have you been impressed with his consistency?
Yes. You say Miz impressed? Yes. And there isn't anything I'm not impressed with. His poise, his energy, his spirit, everything about the kid, his humility. I'm in. I like the kid.
Will he get them again coming out of the break, or is this a chance to give him?
Yeah, we'll see. We haven't made all that we haven't made that whole projection yet. We're throwing it around. We'll see.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
There you go. That's Pat Murphy talking to the media after last night's contest. Impressed? Yes. Hell yeah. But more so than anything, not just with the ability to throw the baseball, but with the poise and the way he conducts himself. I do like the fact that they started talking about Sal Frelick and his power. And they, no, we're not going there. He's not a power hitter. He did put on the 25 pounds of muscle in the offseason, and he has been good, but I can see what Murph's doing. It's not that he's taking credit away from his guys. It's like, don't fill their heads with a bunch of crap. Don't write a story about Sal Frelick and his power surge.
Let's not talk about Sal and power. Okay?
Yeah, I love it. Don't do that. Don't do that. We're not going to fill their heads with this stuff. Come on, man. Come on. Winning Gambler says the Brewers are definitely catching the Dodgers at the right time. Is that kind of a backhanded slap? So are we saying that had the Dodgers come in with a 4-game win streak and they were just playing really good baseball, that the Brewers wouldn't have been able to beat them? Like MIZ-ery wouldn't have been able to shut them down last night? I mean, sometimes it is about catching a team at a good time. I get that, but I think the Brewers are going toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. Dodgers have a really good lineup, and they face their best.
I don't know about you. I don't want to see the Dodgers when they've lost 3 in a row. Are you kidding me? That means they're about to get it right.
Right. You know, you're kind of like fighting the odds at this point. You know, the odds of the Brewers sweeping the Dodgers are, you know, getting another win today. You know, I think we all have hope. Quintana going to the Hill. Yeah, you're excited about it, but you're kind of like, well, people have already said to me, well, if they lose this one, that's okay. They've already won the series. But we're looking at it as, so they're not going to win this game? We're conceding the fact that it's hard for the Dodgers to continue on this losing streak, the Brewers to continue on the winning streak, and the Brewers to actually sweep the Dodgers. Dare we even dream for that? Like we shouldn't even go to there? You know? No, I'm thinking to myself, no, I feel good. Brewers have been playing good baseball. They've been firing on all cylinders. And oh, by the way, don't forget, since May 23rd, they're the best team in baseball. Come on, give it to them. I mean, the only other team that's really creeped up there is the Toronto Blue Jays, and they're on a 10-game win streak right now. So give them all the credit. Give them the right amount of credit, man. Yes, I mean, look, it's all about streaks, right? But does that then explain when you lose to, say, a Rockies team who has won, 20, 30 games all season long? That, well, you know, you were due for a lot. No, they're a baseball team. They beat you that particular day. But no, I'm not going to they beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. They have been a team that's consistently beaten teams over 500 this season. They've got a good record. They've got a plus 500 record. I think they're 4 or 5 games over when it comes to teams over 500 facing them this season. So no, I give them all the credit in the world. Our buddy Dwayne from Dwayne's Covered All says the look on the Dodgers' faces after striking out last night was priceless. We would have beat them even if they weren't on a winning streak. End of story. I love it. Confidence. Love it. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back. We still have another hour yet to go. Rob Reischel is going to join us in the next hour. Don't forget. We'll hear a little bit of Vinny Rottino's conversation as well. So we got a lot of stuff coming up, man. We got a lot of good stuff happening. Don't go anywhere. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends out there at Smoke on the Water, which if you're out and about today on a beautiful day like today, you're going to take the boat out. Maybe you're going to cut out of work a little bit early, get yourself some lunch, go to a good place to watch the game, pull up on the dock. Yeah, Smoke on the Water right there on Okachi Lake. Or if you're going to head out this weekend, if you're going to head out tonight, Friday night, good old-fashioned fish fry, watch the Brewers, Sloppy Joe's Saloon and Spoon out in Hubertus. Both places awesome. Both places awesome. By the way, they just posted Blake Perkins looking to restart his rehab assignment Friday, AAA Nashville. Nestor Cortez is going to make his rehab start on Thursday at Single A, Wisconsin. Both guys on pace to come back soon. So you would assume after the All-Star break, both of these guys are going to be pushing their way into the rosters at some point. So more right there on those two guys. which is good news. But speaking of good news, they have the Bourbon Bar up and running as well at Smoke on the Water in Okauchee Lake. Both places, Smoke on the Water in Okauchee, Sloppy Joe's Saloon and Spoon on Hubertus and Hubertus. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Glad you're with us. Coming up in the next hour, Rob Reischel, talking Packers and their offseason. That's coming up. Keep you updated on the Brewers game. Here from Vinny Rottino. That's coming up. So all of this is coming up, and we're going to jam pack it into one more hour of the program today on a Wednesday Hump Day edition of the Bill Michaels Show. So all of that. I'm looking forward to it. We'll talk some Packers offseason with Rob Reischel and get his thoughts. And as the mini camps closed and what we're looking for going into training camp, we'll get his thoughts on the whole Elton Jenkins situation. Elton Jenkins still not signed. Also, Ed Policy taking over and saying, we're going to wait and see what happens with Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst and Russ Ball and company. We'll get into all of that coming up just after the top of the hour, so don't go anywhere. Plus, we'll keep you up to date on what's going on in Brewerland as the Brewers look to get themselves, hopefully, a sweep over the defending world champion, Los Angeles Dodgers. And the Dodgers, they have the losing streak going on right now. And, they're a little bit down. So you kind of bite your nails because you're waiting for them to bust out at any moment. The odds are in their favor that they will not live like this much longer. But as long as they're in Brewer land, you hope that they continue to do so. And I will also give a lot of credit to what the Brewers are doing because the Brewers are just beating them. The Brewers haven't made many mistakes. The Brewers have had really, really solid pitching, top to bottom. Brewers have been able to get some timely hits, and they've been patient at the plate in the sense of not being overly aggressive, being able to work the count, and also put the ball in play. So all of that, good stuff for the Brewers. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, top of the hour here. So let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers will go for a sweep of the defending World Series champion Dodgers this afternoon at American Family Field. They will do so about 15 hours since Jacob Mizrowski's latest electric performance for the Crew. After getting of a leadoff home run to Shohei Ohtani, the rookie would go on to pitch 6 innings, allowing just 4 hits and striking out 12 and a win for the Crew. It came on the same day as future Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw was on the mound for L.A. The fact that he outdueled Kershaw felt great for Mizrowski.
Yeah, I mean, you have all the respect in the world to face Kershaw and, the 3,000 Ks. It's awesome to see a guy like that and match up against him. But, I saw something on online that he didn't know who I was, so I hope that he knows me now. It's kind of cool. But, it is what it is.
Today, Brewers going to give the ball to Jose Quintana. Comes in 6-3 with a 3.44 ERA. Dodgers counter with Tyler Glasgow. He enters 0-1 with a 4.50 ERA. First pitch coming up at 1:10 after today. Brewers will get tomorrow off before opening up a final series before the All-Star break on Friday against Washington.
ABC of Wisconsin is the largest apprenticeship program in the state, with more than 2,000 active apprentices in 12 different skilled trades. In the ABC apprenticeship program, you earn while you learn on the job, get paid to go to class, and graduate with a job in your craft, but without the huge college debt. Explore 12 different construction trades in one spot at buildyourcareerwi.org, or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, the Bucs last night continued their announcements of signings that had previously been reported. That included the addition of Gary Harris on a 1-year deal and the re-signing of Ryan Rollins. Turning to the Packers, they will get training camp going 2 weeks from today in Green Bay. Going to be the first of 14 practices open to the public, including the annual family night on August 2nd. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome! Yeah! Final hour. Here we are. Brewers going for the sweep today. We're going to talk some Packers football coming up in this hour. Going to hear from Vinny Rottino. Rob Reischel coming up here in about 15 minutes. So, yeah, I'm excited. This is a jam-packed last hour of the program. Good stuff. Hell yeah. I got to say hi to Gary as him and the family are at the Brewers game today. Took a nice picture out in front of the Bob Uecker statue, sent it to me. So thank you so much for sending that over. We certainly appreciate it. Also, our good friend Tony, who is also at the game today, said I'll text you and keep you up to date. Tony, appreciate it. Let me know what the atmosphere is, and let me know what the crowd is today. Because last night was electric. Just electric. Fantastic stuff. So we'll get into all of that today. Jose Quintana on the hill going up against the Dodgers, trying to shut them down one more time before the Dodgers leave town, which if they could do that, it would be fantastic. Fantastic. You've got the Brewers taking on the Dodgers today. Glass now throwing for the Dodgers. Quintana on the hill for the Brewers. The Reds trying to fend off full elimination before you get to the All-Star break. They've got Abbott going today. That's a 6:10 start down in Cincinnati. Alcantara for the Marlins will be throwing. And then elsewhere throughout the National League Central, you got the Cubs on the road, 6:40 tonight at Target Field taking on the Twins. Horton against Festa. And then you got the Cardinals at home taking on the Washington Nationals before the Nationals now make their way here coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to close out the unofficial first half of the baseball season. So a lot of good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Blaine says, I hope the Brewers do make a move, although I don't see them making a big move. Do you think they take on a bunch of salary, or do you think they give up a bunch to get a big-time player? I would like to see them get a big bat who can play third base. Well, that's the one thing that we've talked about over and over again. Almost maybe too much credence to it. I don't see them making a big move. And again, I'm not saying they don't need to, because let me say this. I will say this. They don't need to make a big move. They just need a move that's going to give them another more reliable bat, whether it's a bat coming off the bench or it's a consistent bat, say at third base, which is something that we have talked about time and again, but I don't think they need to make a move. I've had 2 or 3 people, we were talking about Brewers and moves before, talking about what Jim Bowden said on the MLB Network, talking about Alex Bregman and, the agreement and or disagreement with the Boston Red Sox. I don't think the Red Sox want to pay him a ton of money. I don't think they want to redo that deal. I think Bregman got the deal that he wanted. He's got the ability to opt out. He's having a decent season. But there's a discussion about whether or not the Brewers could go after him. But I don't see the Brewers going after a big-time player. I don't know. I don't see it happening. I don't say they're, if at all, if they even do a deal. We just talked about Nestor Cortez getting ready to come back. Blake Perkins is going to do his rehab start down in Nashville. He's getting ready to come back. Both guys probably right after the All-Star break are going to be, knocking on the door of the bigs again. So they've got more moves to make. I just don't see that happening. But the Brewers don't need to make a big move. And here's another thing. Don't forget, you don't want to mess with the chemistry you have right now, the excitement you have right now. I think making a move would say, hey, they're going for it. They're trying to give us some extra support here. Making a big move and taking some players out of your lineup, I don't know if they want to do that. Unless it's a really, again, if you go back to like Suarez coming out of Arizona, that's a big move. That automatically makes him your starting third baseman if indeed they go in that direction. I just don't think they want to do that. That's not what I see them doing, especially with Caleb Durbin. Caleb Durbin, not a household name. He's come up this year. He's played really well. He's settled in. He's become a good third baseman. His numbers are not terrible. Now, if you get Eugenio Suarez, that guy's got power. He hits for average. That guy's your starting third baseman. That tells everybody in the clubhouse you're going for it. That might be, if that indeed becomes a deal, that might be one of the only deals that I could see then happening. But again, I said this, the Cubs are looking at him. You've got 3 or 4 other teams that are also involved in this, or at least rumored to be involved in this. There's nothing solidified right now. And if it becomes a bidding war, the Brewers aren't going to go all in like that. That's not what they do. I would not be upset if they did it. Hell no. I would be somewhat shocked if they did it. I don't say shocked very easily. I say that all the time. If the Brewers ended up with Suarez, man, that would be like 2 things big. One is they really believe they've got something in the here and the now. They see something even more so behind closed doors than what we see. And the second thing is that means they are just like pushing all the chips through the middle of the table, going all in. And I'd give them credit for doing it. But I don't see them giving up a lot. I don't see them getting into a bidding war. Maybe it also makes you believe that maybe they don't feel like Caleb Durbin's the long-term guy over there. Maybe they don't have as much belief in him as his numbers recently would indicate. But I just don't see them doing that. Just my opinion. 877-867-1670. Gerald, listening to us in Fond du Lac. Gerald, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
I'm doing good, man. What's up?
Hey, I have a thought. We've been kind of thinking about that extra bat for a little while. Really, the only thing that the only guy who I can think of replacing is Cameron on the bench, because it would be nice to have that vet in the postseason who's going to come in the 7th, 8th inning as a pinch hitter when we really need 2 runs, you know what I mean? And who's going to give you that pop and that big thing. I'm actually starting to wonder, did we make that move already? Once Vaughn goes back to the bench, once Hoskins comes back, we got Bowers. Is Vaughn that guy? He's a vet. He's already shown that he can hit in the clutch when you need a big spot. I mean, he took one of the best pitchers in baseball in his first at-bat with a brand new team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much more of a low pulse can you have?
Yeah.
So that's got me wondering. Like, I wonder if the move that we need has already been made, and he goes to the bench, and that's that guy who can come in, the 7th, 8th, 9th inning of a playoff game when we really need it. We're down 2-1, and 1 runner on base. We need that pop. He's got pop in his bat. Seems to have ice in his veins. Like I said, I think we might be there.
Yeah, I appreciate the phone call. Here's the when you say Cameron, they don't have a Cameron right now on the roster. So, but I will say this: I agree with you with Vaughn. Vaughn was a high draft choice. They had a lot of belief in down in Chicago. Like I said, sometimes when you go to a new ball club, a team that is actually fighting for something, a team that does it right, a team that has expectations, it changes you, man. It changes you. So maybe Vaughn got here and went, oh man, there's a whole different energy. There's a whole different vibe. There's a whole different feel here. And it brings you up. It raises you up. So maybe that might be the diamond in the rough, the trade that's already happened. And you're going to get, obviously Reese Hoskins back too. So you're going to have both of those guys sitting there. And maybe they swap. I mean, who knows? Maybe you've got that bat that you can bring off the bench in that sense. So you might not be far off on that. Anthony Siegler is probably the only guy that would be the last man out. He's a backup catcher in case something happens to Haas. That's really kind of your only other guy that you can see maybe bouncing at this point. You're not going to bounce Vaughn. Monasterio has kind of played himself into a really valuable role coming off of the bench. Both of those guys have options. Both of those guys still have 3 options. Even Andrew Vaughn has options. But and again, once you bring Blake Perkins back, he's probably going to take Siegler's place. So then what? Because he's going to be your backup outfielder. So where else are you going to have room? You going to knock Monasterio out? If, say, you do bring in somebody for Caleb Durbin, does Durbin then go to the bench, knock Monasterio back down to AAA? That would, now again, sometimes these things begin to take care of themselves. I've discussed this before, but that's a legitimate discussion. So maybe they don't make a move. Maybe they just say, look, we've got a stacked roster unless we have to get rid of somebody. They do have a lot of options there. Don't get me wrong, because Vaughn, Monasterio, and Siegler all have 3 options left. The only guy that doesn't is Eric Haas, and he's a bench player. Caleb Durbin still has options. I don't know if you want to take Caleb Durbin and go, hey, thanks, you played really great. You really morphed into a good third baseman, but you got to go. I don't know if they want to do that either. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. What else do we have? I saw the whole thing about the All-Star game and robot umpires and stuff. No, I don't. It's regular. What the robot discussion is they still use that quiz text system, which is what you basically see on the TV screen. They use that. They're not going to use that, though, as calling balls and strikes. So, no, They're not doing it. They're not doing it. 877-867-1670. All right, let's do this. We'll step out when we come back. We'll talk with our buddy over there and Rob Reischel talking some Packers football. Packers football offseason, we'll get Rob's take on all of this. I want to talk to him a little bit about Elton Jenkins. I want to talk to him a little bit about the wide receiving core, about, offensive and defensive beliefs, if you will, how high he is or maybe how not high he is on some of the things that we've heard this offseason. So we'll get into all of that. Don't go anywhere. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. Don't forget, bottom of the hour, also going to hear from Vinny Rottino as the Brewers in action. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at The Nice Ash Cigar Bar. The Nice Ash, 323 West Main Street, downtown Waukesha. And you go in there on a day like today, man, you're sitting around right now. Maybe you're having a victory cigar from last night still, and you're watching Quintana go at the Dodgers, maybe for the sweep. Or, in that sense, you're also thinking about maybe tomorrow. There's live entertainment, live music. Friday Night Live is back. You got live music down there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all that kind of good stuff. 13 different flavors of hookahs. They have the fine bourbons and whiskeys down there as well. They got a really high-end bourbon and whiskey club, a whole menu of stuff, and a great big, huge walk-in humidor. 323 West Main Street, downtown Waukesha. That's theniceash.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was the collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options, and it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware, and because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side, at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious cups. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
The engines are coming to life. It's race season again. Vintage, Superbikes, IndyCar, and more. For tickets and information, go to roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels rolls in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. Beautiful Wednesday. Glad you're joining us. Brewers are on fire right now, and all is quiet on the Packers front. To talk a little bit about the Packers offseason and getting ready for training camp, our buddy Rob Reischel, Connelly Media, Forbes.com, now joining us on the hotline. Rob, how you doing, pal?
I'm tremendous. How are you, Billy?
I am good. I'm about to enjoy even more of my summer. I can't believe that we're creeping up only days away, we'll say, from Packers training camp. But what did you glean from the OTAs and the mandatory minicamp?
Yeah, 2 weeks away from real football, right? No, it's funny, Bill. I was standing on the sideline one day during OTAs, kind of down on an end of the you know how the fields are set up, kind of down on an end where nobody was. Where the kind of the brass parks, that end of the practice field. And Brian Gutekunst was walking out. He was heading to a meeting of some sort, and he said, "Are you going to stay for this?" He goes, "It's 2.5 hours of fake football, So it's OTAs and mini camps are tricky, right, Bill? It's tough to glean a whole lot. Guys are in shorts; they're not tackling, for the most part. I mean, we're going to learn a lot more once they put on the pads here in 2.5 weeks and get after it a little bit. I will say this, Bill, overall, I liked the offseason. I thought the draft was a big success. They needed an influx of talent at wide receiver. They went and they got it with Golden in the first and Williams in the third. I know the fan base and a lot of national people didn't love what they did in free agency, spending like they did on Banks, the guard, and then Nate Hobbs, the corner / nickel guy. Still, they did improve the roster, though, with both of those players. The roster will be better with those guys. The run game is going to be better with Banks stepping in and Myers exiting and Elton Jenkins going to center. The secondary is going to be better because you didn't have Jair Alexander in the first place. And Nate Hobbs is going to give you more than what you would have gotten probably from a combination of 7 games of Jair and whoever else was going to be on the roster. So, I mean, Bill, they've still got a gap. I think they've got to prove that they can catch the Eagles and the Vikings and the Lions and some people like that inside the conference. But top to bottom, I like their offseason a lot, and I think they're going to be knocking on the door of a playoff run this year.
What do you think? I want to go to the Elton Jenkins thing. What do you think of the holdout and where they end up? Because Elton Jenkins, kind of the presumption is this might be probably will be his last year. And so you don't want to pay him long term, but how much do you give him to be happy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tricky, Bill, because they have 3 other guys on that offensive line who are entering the final year of their rookie deals as well. Rasheed Walker, the left tackle, Sean Ryan at guard, and Zach Tom at tackle. Now, I think they'll probably get something done with Zach Tom before the season ends. Bill, I think they're going to probably wind up finding a happy medium to your question with Elton Jenkins. I mean, Jenkins is going to want to get paid like a top guy now at his position. And Bill, here's the thing. They're going to have to bring a couple of those guys back. Now, I mean, you're talking, you're working under that presumption that Elton Jenkins might be gone a year from now. That leaves 4 of your 5 guys potentially entering the final year of a deal. They'll keep a couple of those guys still, and then they'll have guys like Jordan Morgan and then Anthony Belton, the second-round pick from this year, that'll be ready to step in. And I'm sure they always draft 2 or 3 these days every single year, and they'll try to replenish it that way.
Right.
I'm not totally convinced, Bill, that Jenkins will be gone next year because they're going to sign 2 of those 4 that we just mentioned. Tom's a virtual lock. And then it comes down to a tough decision, right, between a Rasheed Walker, an Elton Jenkins, and a Sean Ryan probably. And a lot of that's going to play out in training camp, and maybe starting right away, Bill, with that left tackle position where Jordan Morgan and Rasheed Walker are going to go at it through the course of the summer. And, if Walker emerges from that, Bill, and he's the better player, he's got a real good chance to get a contract extension. If he doesn't, he's probably going to be a guy like Josh Nijman a couple years ago, who lost that training camp battle and then was gone the following year. But Bill, I think at the end of the day, they'll settle in somewhere and give Jenkins a small bump and get that figured out. And Jenkins will show up and he'll play that position just fine. And across the board, Bill, that was a really good run offense the way it was last year. I think they were 5th in the league rushing the ball. They could be even better this year because they're going to have more beef up front with kind of an interior line combo of Banks, Jenkins, and Ryan versus the Josh Myers in there from a year ago.
We know at the Combine, when asked about going out and getting an edge rusher, that, Brian Gutekunst was emphatic that he believes Lucas Van Ness is going to make a jump. I talked with Lucas Van Ness during the tailgate tour, and he was talking about the thumb and had to figure things out and started to get a little bit more comfortable, but really could not do a whole lot until the thumb began to heal. So this year he's coming in fully healthy. The edge rusher position, getting Baron Sorrell, I like that. And a 4th-round draft choice, an enthusiastic guy. But do you think they have enough up front to really kind of sustain, defensively speaking, to give them and Jeff Hafley what it is they want?
Probably to be determined, Bill. Everybody at this time last year thought they had more than enough in terms of their personnel up front, and that group had a really disappointing season across the board. Not just Lucas Van Ness, who was fighting the injury, but Kenny Clark moving inside the defensive tackle from end, Billy. Kenny Clark fought injuries all season long, and I think, Bill, he's maybe even a bigger key up front than Lucas Van Ness. Getting Kenny Clark to play the way he did in 2023. Kenny Clark probably had his best season as a Packer in 2023. And, as excited as everybody was, Bill, about making that switch from a 3-4 to a 4-3, I remember talking to Kenny last offseason, and he was the one guy like, well, I haven't played that. It's going to be tricky. So it was tricky for him to learn on the curve, learn on the fly, Billy, and then secondly, he was fighting injuries through the course of the year, and we didn't know how bad it was until the off season, and even more recently when they had the OTAs and minicamp. So Kenny Clark's really a huge key up there. Devontae Wyatt had the ankle too, Bill. You remember Devontae Wyatt started like gangbusters the first month of last season. I think he had 3 sacks in the first 4 games. It looked like he was ready to turn a corner. And then he had the ankle, and he wasn't the same player. He was out about a month. He wasn't the same player after he returned. I would say by this point, Rashawn Gary's career, 7 years in, Rashawn Gary is who he is. He's a nice player. He's not going to be an elite edge rusher. So across the board, you look and you say, how can they get better? Well, Lucas Van Ness, like you said, Bill, has to make a monumental jump this year. It's a critical year. He's already at a career crossroads as he hits year 3. He's got to prove it this season. They need Clark and Wyatt to be better on the interior, and they should be if they can stay healthy, Bill. And then you remember at the end of last season, Hafley got pretty creative with some. He'd love to rush with 4 and leave 7 and back. And, he couldn't do it last year, Billy. He had to bring pressure from a lot more spots. Bill, I think Edgerrin Cooper's going to have a breakout year. I think he's going to be terrific. We saw it in flashes last year. If he can become more consistent, he's going to add to that pass rush, that sack total across the board. Bill, they're not great up front, but they've got a chance to be a B minus type of group. They're not going to be an A by any means, though.
I want to, no matter what they did and who they brought in, whether it's bringing in, Matthew Golden or anybody else for that matter, to me, it all comes down to how well Jordan Love plays. How big of a season is this, do you feel, for Jordan Love. Now, we know what he can do because we saw in the second half of his first year under center. Last year was injury kind of, I don't want to say plagued, but I think that was some hindrance there. How big of a year is this for Jordan Love coming up?
Huge. Absolutely. And you hit it, Bill. We can sit here all day, right, and talk about the offensive line, and is Tucker Kraft going to take a jump, right? And boy, can Xavier McKinney be as good, and is Evan Williams going to make a jump, or whoever it is, right? It's all irrelevant if Jordan Love doesn't make a really big jump this year. Bill, I kind of correlate it to, you're dating a woman for 2-3 years, and you're not quite sure if you want to go buy the jewelry and put the ring on her finger.
Right.
That's kind of where they are right now. I mean, they're clearly tied into Love with this long-term contract, the 4-year, $220 million deal that he signed last offseason. But I think you're going to know after this year, can he take you to being a Super Bowl level football team? And right now we just don't know. I would have told you after 2023, the answer was clearly yes. It was a runaway yes. I don't think he regressed dramatically, maybe as much as some people made out last year, Bill. And we know he was certainly way more beat up in 2024 than he was in 2023. But he's got a lot to prove, coming back this season. Can he elevate the offense to a point where you can keep up in a shootout with the Lions or the Eagles or something like that? I mean, they had 10 points in that playoff loss to Philadelphia last year. He threw the 2 critical interceptions in the 2023 playoff loss to the 49ers, where that game was certainly winnable for Green Bay in the divisional round. Now, Bill, his wide receivers at the same point in time have to be a lot better around him. I mean, they led the league in drops. The guys like Wicks and Reed have to be a lot better catching the football. But there's no question. Love's got to be more consistent across the board and play it. He had that stretch, Bill, in 2023 where he had a 9-week run of 23 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Right.
And Rodgers never did that. Favre never did that. I mean, it was something we've never even seen. He's not going to match that again. That was almost unprecedented, but he's got to be closer to that, Bill, than he was in the ugly moments last year.
Real quick before I let you go, the question about that came up with Ed Policy is, hey, Matt LaFleur's coming up, Brian Gutekunst's coming up, Russ Ball's coming up. Did you like his answer by saying, hey, no, I'm not going to jump into that pool just yet. We're going to wait and see. We're certainly not going to leave anybody be a lame duck coach or lame duck general manager, but he kind of wants to wait and see. Do you think he's got trepidation about either, or do you think that he's just I think he's just easing into the role and he doesn't want to go out and make big drastic moves, and I think he just wants to kind of say, okay, this is probably what Mark Murphy would have done. Give him the season, and we won't make them lame ducks, and we'll do it again. But I think there's a wide eye on a lot of this right now, right?
Well, Bill, I'll say this, right? It's year 7 for LaFleur. It's year 8 for Gutekunst. And the NFL is like dog years. That is a long, long time in those roles and those positions if you haven't at least been to a Super Bowl and or won a Super Bowl. Bill, Matt's entering year 7, and there are only 4 coaches in the history of football that won a Super Bowl after year 7. It's John Madden, it's Tom Landry, it's Bill Cowher, and it's Hank Stram. They're all in the Hall of Fame. In essence, Bill, if you don't get it done pretty early, you're not going to get it done in terms of winning the Super Bowl. There's 4 Hall of Famers that did it after year 7. Right now, I wouldn't say Matt LaFleur is close to being a Hall of Fame football coach. So I think Ed Policy does and should have some reservations on these guys. I'll be honest, Bill, I think Matt would be maybe a little bit more on the hot seat than Gutekunst. I would have a feeling Gutekunst would get a chance to hire one more head coach, maybe before they'd move him out. But Bill, if things go south this year and they're 7-10, 8-9, miss the playoffs, Love doesn't advance, the way they're going to need him to on the field, and he doesn't make the necessary jump that we just talked about, I think the guy that's going to be in the most trouble is probably Matt LaFleur. I get it. He's 67-33 overall. It's a terrific overall record. But Bill, he's 3-5 in the playoffs, and he has 1 playoff win since 2020. And there's some bad losses in there too, including the 10 points they put up last year against the Eagles. So I think the guy, Bill, that might be on the hottest of seats, like you said, because they're not going to let these guys enter a lame duck season. They're going to have to make some decisions after 2025 ends. And I think it's just a huge year for Matt LaFleur.
Good stuff. Rob, appreciate it. Well, are you working on anything between now and camp?
Yeah, we're counting down the 30 most important Packers right now, Bill, over at Forbes.com, and I'll start a position-by-position season preview and breakdown of all the spots on the roster that'll run across kind of all the platforms at Connelly Media and Forbes. They'll start next week.
Excellent stuff. Rob, appreciate it as always, pal. Thanks.
All right, a lot of fun. Thanks, Billy.
There you go. Talk to you soon. Rob Reischel joining us from Forbes.com. That's where you can read his stuff. Like he said, he's got the 30 most important Packers and the breakdown coming up. Go to Forbes.com and read all about it right there if you're a Packers fan. We'll go ahead and take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Got a lot more to get to. Vinny Rottino. Going to hear that conversation coming up. How about that? Got Vinny Rottino. You're going to hear his discussion of this Milwaukee Brewers team. And oh, by the way, during the interview there, some fantastic outfield play by the Milwaukee Brewers and Isaac Collins with a sliding, diving catch to save maybe a run, but more so than anything, a base knock. And Quintana continues to get through a couple of innings unscathed. Good stuff. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella experience.
The biggest thing for us in the Experience Center was a collaboration with the team. We were able to come in and sit down and go over a bunch of different options, and it wasn't just us dictating what we wanted.
They asked us things we didn't even know or think about, from colors to hardware, and because of that, we were able to get the best possible look for our home.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Just like Jim and Haley, you too can see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of window and door options from 7 different Pella lines, side by side, at our Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. And today is a great day to stop by because right now you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. The Pella Experience Center is on Blue Mountain Road, kitty corner to delicious cups. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the USA, get the look you want at a price you can afford. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Truck drivers, it's time to take your skills to a company that invests in your safety and comfort. Schneider's newer and well-maintained equipment keeps drivers moving and making money. Our trucks are spec'd with the latest safety and comfort features that drivers want. Plus, we offer a huge selection of driving jobs so you can find a job with the home time and schedule you've been looking for. Upgrade to a better driving job today. Search jobs near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Vinny Rottino from FanDuel now joining us, Brewers broadcaster. Vinny, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. No, actually, both coming out of a
excellent
meeting.
Both are well equipped because you can have a great meeting in the bathroom. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep, Bill. You know you're right on point with that as per usual. So
yes, thank you very much.
Yep.
Now answer me this because I had a friend of mine that said this is like when CeCe got here, and I said no because CeCe was a veteran. You came in and had these expectations, and it was a different energy. You were just trying to get above 500 and trying to get yourself into the postseason. This is a kid who seems to have given a shot of adrenaline into a team that's been there, done that. They're just trying to add that extra piece to maybe put him over the top. And MIZ-ery's been all that in a bag of chips. Do you look at those as two different things?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, I can see kind of where someone would be going with that, just in terms of like the energy that CeCe brought to the team way back in 2008. And, just it was a shot in the arm. Now, it is different, though, because this team has been in the playoffs now for 6 out of the last 7 years and won the division back-to-back years. So, I mean, there's a level of success here that the Brewers and the Brewers fans have come to expect. Now, MIZ-ery now all of a sudden gives you just like some hope that maybe, okay, this kid could, you have Peralta, MIZ-ery, and Brandon Woodruff now, all of a sudden, that's a three-headed monster, perhaps, that could carry you through the playoffs. Now, I do think that that's kind of the more the feel that you get from this kid and the shot of adrenaline, the shot in the arm that he has brought to the team.
to get yourself through a season, a long baseball season, there has to be certain things. Now, this team started off rough. They were basically a 500 team. Then they get the extra inning win on the walk-off grand slam by Yelich. Boom, you've got yourself an energizing moment, because I know that Murph was talking about misplaced energy. Then MIZ-ery comes up. Then Woodruff comes back. It's like every time you're kind of hitting a little bit of a lull, something else happens to kind of give you another burst of energy for the next few weeks or what have you. But all of this, when you put it all together, it's got to be energizing and exciting to be around this team every day now, knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, well, Bill, they were 21-25 on May 17th. After the game on May 17th, 21-25. That was the 23rd best record, best winning percentage in all of baseball. I mean, they were not just struggling. They were a bad team. They were going to sell at the deadline. And all of a sudden, they've been on this unbelievable run, if not the hottest, one of the hottest teams in all of baseball since that May 18th date. And look, it's such a long stretch now that they've been playing differently. They've been playing with that, not misplaced energy now. This energy is placed in the right direction on beating teams day in, day out. And all of a sudden now they've taken 2 from the LA Dodgers, who had the best record in all the National League. And now the Dodgers on a 5-game losing streak. So they have the Dodgers kind of back on their heels, reeling at this moment in time. And think about the payroll that they have and the superstar power that they do have. They have an opportunity to sweep them. Now, I think if they sweep this team right here and then go in and then take the series against the Washington Nationals, they're going to be going into that All-Star break. Talk about energized group and energized fan base. We're going to be thinking some really big things here, not only making it to the playoffs, but really you have a chance to run down the Cubs here in the NL Central. So yeah, this is, it just happens every year, doesn't it, guys? We don't know. The expectations aren't that lofty for a team without a great payroll, with a bunch of names we don't even know who they are. And then all of a sudden they make runs like this into the season and we get excited. So you never know. I mean, just have a chance to do something special this year. I know we say that a lot too, but they really do with this group. I feel like this group is as good, if not better, than last year's group, just because of the depth at starting pitching that they do have. 2 things that I think have gone somewhat unnoticed because of all the excitement. One is Vaughn, they trade for him. Rhys Hoskins goes down. He comes in, hits a bomb. Last night, he gives you an RBI base knock. He's been integral. And then all of a sudden, that throw from Monasterio going home last night. So for as good as MIZ-ery was in the excitement, they had some big moments from guys that you wouldn't think normally would come in and contribute right away, but they find that energy and they do it as well. Well, and so Mona, I mean, this kid just continues to perform well. I got to tell you that for him not to take the mindset of, I'm just happy to be here. No, he doesn't. That's hard to do, because he hadn't been playing a whole lot. It was in AAA to start the season. He didn't make the team because of Vinny Capra was on the team, because he was out of options. So Andres Monasterio comes up and he's made, he's had big moments like that. Really his entire Brewers tenure so far. Now he's been with the team 3 years. So that was as big of a play last night. That's gotta be in my top 5 of best plays of the year. Now it wasn't just, the Superman type of a dive or a robbery of a home run, but just the situation of the game for him to throw that strike basically to cut down the runner at home to preserve the lead and preserve the MIZ-ery win. That was absolutely huge. And then yes, Andrew Vaughn, he's been playing pretty good defense too. The dive down the line, that was potentially a game-saving play. That was in the 6th inning, the top of the 6th against Freddie Freeman with that shot down the line. And then the 3-6-3 double play that he turned game 1 in the 1st inning, and then he goes out and hits a 3-run bomb in the bottom half of that inning, and then the big RBI last night. So, I mean, he is stepping in for Rhys Hoskins. The fact that he is injured, of course, we don't love to see that. But he's picking up where basically he is capable of, because this guy was a producer with the Chicago White Sox, and all of a sudden you're giving him a change of scenery. I mean, that was a historically bad organization. They really were. They were behind in a lot of ways, and all of a sudden you're putting him here in this winning culture. Let's see what he can do. I think he can do some big things. So I want to ask you about the rest of the division. I only got a couple of minutes, but the Cubs, a good baseball team. They continue to win games. They lost last night. Brewers only 2.5 games back as of right now. You tell me, you've got the Reds 8.5. I think they're just almost completely out of it. The Cardinals are still kind of hanging around, even though those 2 teams are vying for at least wild card spots. They're trying to. Give me your thoughts on the division and where the Brewers, as you sit here now and look, because you had talked about how they could have been sellers at the All-Star break. Now you got to think they're buyers
but what are they buying as you look at the rest of the division and where they're going?
Yeah. So, I actually am still a little bit of I'm looking at the Reds in the rearview mirror thinking, okay, keep your eyes on them just because of their starting pitching is so good and they still have Tito Francona at the helm. And then they have Ellie De La Cruz and they have some other pieces on the position player side, some young players that can do some things. So I would just keep my, one eye on them in the rearview mirror. They scare me just a little bit, but yeah, they're digging themselves into quite a deep hole. And then I actually think the Cardinals are pretenders. I really do. I'm not a believer in what they're doing right now, especially with their starting rotation. They still have Miles Michaelis in that rotation and some other guys that are just, they're kind of overperforming right now. And so I just don't see it sustainable for the Cardinals right now. And they could eventually be sellers. So I do think it's a 2-horse race. I think the Cubs are still the Cubs. I still think they're absolutely potent offense. Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow-Armstrong. I don't think anyone could have foreseen, what he was able to do, or what he's been able to do so far this season. He's an MVP type candidate. And that was kind of a surprise. So it's a 2-horse race. I think the Brewers are going to run them down. I really do. I'm a believer in this club, and I'm a believer in what Pat Murphy is able to kind of sell. He is the ultimate salesman, but it's authentic in terms of how he wants his guys to play. They are not going to slow down. They're going to play relentlessly. They're going to play with all kinds of conviction and intent night in, night out. And I'm telling you guys, it is so much fun to watch this brand of baseball from the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't know if they're going to buy at the deadline. I don't. I just think Matt Arnold and company, they're so smart with these kinds of moves that they're not going to leverage the future. Also, though, if they can get something on, pennies on the dollar, they're going to pull the trigger on something. So let's see what happens here in the trade deadline. It's coming up here, guys, just 3 weeks away. So it's going to be fun kind of to see how this all plays out.
1 minute, real quick. Do you like what Murphy did in regarding to Joey Ortiz and how it was handled?
I do, because I think Joey Ortiz is the right guy to do that with, just because of the fact that I think it'll light a fire under Joey Ortiz. He is a talented player. Murph wouldn't do this with a Vinny Rottino, okay? He wouldn't do this with a guy like me, because I would need a pat on the back and I would be afraid to go down to AAA. He knows how good Joey Ortiz is. He knows how talented he is, and he's asking for more from him. And I think, you know what? He knows how to push these buttons, and I think he's going to get it.
Perfect. Vinny, you go do your thing. I know I got to get you out of here. I appreciate you taking your time, and always have a great meeting when you're in the bathroom. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
There you go. Vinny Rottino, not conducting the meeting in the bathroom. Hopefully now, as the Brewers and the Dodgers, bottom of the second. Brewers got them loaded with Joey Ortiz at the plate. But right now, they are trying to put something across and take a lead in this contest with the Dodgers. So anyway, that being said, let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. And then, strike three. Swinging at a high inside fastball well out of the strike zone. Joey Ortiz leaves them loaded. So there you go. They go to the top of the third.
Sorry to jump in. I'm just upset, and I'm not being a polite broadcaster. He watched strike 1 and 2 right down the middle. Yeah. This is why Murph sat his ass down.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm upset for a minute. It'll pass by the end of the show.
Swing at one way up and out of the strike zone. Yeah, that was, can we say that was not lesson learned then?
Yes. I just tweeted that Pat Murphy did not go far enough with Ortiz. I don't know what the next step is, but need more.
Left them loaded and, kick in the groin. All right, let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got a lot more to get to, even though we have one segment left. Got a couple of emails, a couple of thoughts before we get out of here. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Hey, if you're a bicyclist, a terrific event. First time ever coming up. We're less than a month away. Actually, about a month away. August 9th and 10th. It's called the WIMI, Women Wish Ride. And basically, it's a bicycle ride that benefits Make-A-Wish. So that alone should perk up your ears. But this ride is a 200-mile ride. 100 miles the first day, 100 miles the second day. It goes from Marinette, Wisconsin to Kingsford, Michigan, and back. August 9th and 10th. It benefits the Make-A-Wishes in Wisconsin and in Michigan. So if you're interested in this, go to WIMI, Women Wish Ride, WIMIWishRide.org, WIMIWishRide.org. And it's the first annual bike ride. Benefits Make-A-Wish Wisconsin, Make-A-Wish Michigan, and all the proceeds from this event are going to help grant life-changing wishes for kids with critical illnesses. So if you get an opportunity to, if you're a bicyclist or know somebody who is, just check out all the information, WIMI, WIMIWishRide.org. That is WIMIWishRide.org, and see for yourself. It's supposed to be a great event, a very scenic event up in the UP and into Michigan. So by all means, if you can make it, do it, because it looks like it's going to be a fantastic event. Brewers scoreless with the Dodgers. I do got one email here. Michael says, "Hey Bill, sorry if if I sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but I've said and emailed for weeks the Brewers won't and shouldn't make a big splash at the trade deadline. Team chemistry, a huge sports issue. Anybody that has played sports, and I don't mean video games, and knows what a huge element that is. I expect a veteran with playoff experience to come off the bench, make a start if need be. Also, you mentioned about McGill not throwing hard in the past. He has touched 99 and 100 since he's been here. Not on the consistent, he hasn't. And even last night, when he came in and threw, he said, even the broadcasters are like, wait a minute, where'd that come from? That's not what he does on the consistent. He's always been between 94 and say 96, 97. Now I know it's 3 miles an hour, but he's always been in that area. So, but again, going back to the trade thing, it's going to be interesting to see what the Brewers do. There's going to be some discussion at the All-Star break. I don't think there's any doubt about that, between general managers and other general managers. And I'm certain Matt Arnold is a buyer at this point, but just what is the price going to be? And again, coming back maybe tomorrow, we can even talk. Let's say they win this game today. Tomorrow, one of our discussions might very well be, what a sliding grab by Jackson Churio as Ohtani goes down with a blue fly ball that Churio ended up picking up to make the third out of the inning. So the Dodgers, they go down yet again, and it's scoreless through two and a half innings. But one of the questions is going to be, if let's say they win this series and sweep this series, let's just think about it. Where they're at right now, 2.5 games back, yada, yada. Are you even more of a believer? What else would this team need to do for you to become, or the Brewers front office to become, a big time believer in making a bigger move? So good stuff. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Thanks to obviously Vinny Rottino for joining us. Thanks to Rob Reischel for joining us. Good stuff today. Back at it again tomorrow. You'll have some post-game comments after the ball game coming up this afternoon, Grant, correct?
Yes, sir. I will react with grace and aplomb to whatever this team does this afternoon. Recognizing, of course, they've already won the first 2 games of the series. So even if they lose, I shouldn't be that upset. Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. Doesn't mean we can't be. Depends on how you lose that game. So there you go. That's going to do it. Until we talk again 20 hours from now, I might see you down tonight at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. Wednesday Night Live.